say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Some Random Guy Speaks. I am your host, Tony Love, and we are about to get started today. We had a huge turnout yesterday on the fly. Man, I had to change this. I had to change this story, though, man. The news broke so fast, and I didn't want to miss it. I did not want to miss it. It was yesterday in regards to Jake Lane, so yeah. And things. I'm going to try to stay a little bit more current, man. That thing broke yesterday. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, let me get my cameras up. I hope everybody's doing pretty good. I see people in the chat and stuff. So yeah, let me see here. Let me go ahead and get the cameras up. I'm trying to get myself queued up here as well, too. All right, that's the Star Spangled Banner. We have that there. And let me see here. Okay. And what I was going to do, let me do this here because I want to share this with you guys, though. Like Tony Love's new layout here for the lower thirds and everything. Let me go ahead and do this here. We're going to go ahead and see you guys. I'm going to address you guys in a minute and things. Let me go ahead and do this here. So I'm going to take that down. Man, look at that beautiful background, boy. Couldn't have did it better myself, Let me see here. And I appreciate all the love, though, too, in things, though, so we remove that here. Let me go ahead and get the other one removed. There we go. All right. And then what we're going to do, ladies, boy, looking really naked up there, doesn't it? Can't do a show like this. Oh, man. But not to worry. Hold on for one moment. All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and put this right here. And we got one more right here. Got my camera right here, everybody. Oh, yeah, I forgot my hat. Hold on for a minute. This is the wrong. I know, you know what, but you know what? Hold on for a minute. I know where it is, but it's all good. Somehow you see my other hat, too. I got my MAGA hat, man. MAGA. All right. But sometime in the break, I'll just switch it. But show must go on. I mean, where's my other camera at? Okay, here it is right here, my other camera. There I go. Whoops. There I go right here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what you have before, what's before you guys, let's go ahead and look at it, though, right? Remember I showed you yesterday, I was going to tell you yesterday. Let me see here. These are luxury homes. This is Dearborn Heights, and there's a lot of them. There's some other streets, too, that you can actually look at these houses over here. And they're beautiful, right? Remember I was mentioning to you yesterday, he says it's at 4,000, 9,000 square feet. They're building these luxury houses, you know what I'm saying, over there in Dearborn, right? Dearborn Heights, which is a suburb of Dearborn. And they're beautiful. Look at it. Look at the landscape. The question is how are they getting all this money? This is like a $2.5 million home over here, ladies and gentlemen. Look at it. It's a beautiful home. I'm not hating, but, you know, this is 9,000 square feet. This is a 6-bedroom home, right? Look at this here. You know, there's another one right here. Is that a for sale sign on it? No, I don't think so, right? This is all new construction. Look at it. We got stone glass, more moderate. I'm just showing you guys, right? Now over 9,000 square feet. This is 6 bedrooms and 7 bathrooms, listed at $2.25 million. Boy, I tell you, man. Look at this here. Yep. So these are a few. Yep. So that way you guys will know. And I believe, let me see here. There's another one here too. Did I close that out? I probably did. Yeah, I probably did, but that's okay. For what you guys are seeing, this is exactly what it is. Now, this ain't a real estate show. I'm just showing you guys. This is on Zillow. These are homes, luxury homes built in residential areas, right? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Bay Dunes sold a lot of this property. You know, Sam Baydun, the guy I showed you yesterday. He's a big deal. The Baydun name is a big name over there in Dearborn Heights. Look at this. He's been in real estate for 40 years. Look at this. Yeah. Yeah, guys. I don't, you know what I'm saying? It's like these people that's coming over here, they gonna afford in the homes. And thing about with it is that, these are big, huge homes. And it's designed to set their whole families up. That's how they roll. That's how they do it. You know? Yep. That's how they set it up and do it. Yep. Must be nice. Ain't nobody spray painting no KKK on these people's land and property. Right? Ain't nobody telling them to get out of America, firebombing these houses. These houses are beautiful. And they got a lot of Arabs that's actually in the police force. But when this is not the subject, I'm just kind of doing a continuation from yesterday a little bit. We're going to get into the main thing, ladies and gentlemen. But I just want to show some of this to you. Look at this. Yep. All right. So other than that, though, we're going to go ahead and get into the story, though, here. I just got to make sure that Trump is, I think he's speaking. Let me see here. Anything live when it come down to Trump? Let me take a look at it here. Trump won the award. Let me see here. Oh, yeah, I was on his channel. That's Euro the Traveler. Shout out to Euro the Traveler, man. I was on his site earlier today. Yeah. Yeah, he's been out there doing this thing. I just want to make sure what's live here. Let's go and click it. These are all the people that are live today. Okay. Yep. Let me see here. I thought Trump was live. Let me see here. Trump. I just want to make sure now. All right. Let me see here. So shit, this is 3 hours ago. Trump speaks at meeting with tech leaders. Let me see here. Trump speaks. Let me see here. Let me see here. Oh, this is live right now. With the tariffs. Okay, I knew something was going on. Hold on for a minute, guys. Let me see. Is this on the stream here? I usually like to catch it. Okay, this is where it's at. Trump delivers remarks on tech leaders. Yeah, there it is right here. Okay, guys. You know I like going to the White House. Yeah, all right, here it is. We'll be back shortly. Hold on for a minute. Okay, here we go.
Okay, it's a serious group of people here. If you're into the world of finance like I am, I love finance. There's a who's who with us
Trump.
today. It's amazing that you don't know some of these people, but anybody in finance knows every one of them. And I want to thank them for being here today. We're delighted to welcome some of our nation's brightest minds in finance, crypto, and technology ahead of the first ever meeting of the CFTC's Innovation Advisory Committee in Washington, D.C. This is a group of very smart people that are on a committee to recommend what we do. Right, Paul? They're going to be telling us a little bit. But I think Paul knows maybe more than anybody. He's doing a great job. We're all happy with Paul, I think, right? He's been absolutely fantastic. Crypto markets and the prediction markets and conventional finance to decentralized finance. The people in this room are ensuring that the future of commercial markets is pioneered and perfected right here in the USA. We're fighting a lot of other countries to control these markets and to have these markets and to profit and all the jobs and everything else created. And we're doing well. We're leading in every aspect, including AI. And we're leading by a lot. And we want to keep it that way. I want to thank the chairman of the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, Mike Selick, for his tremendous leadership. And come here. Thank you, Mike. I didn't recognize you from so close. And thanks as well to a very special man, a man that everybody respected for a long time. Yeah, he's a man I wanted to do this job, head of the SEC. Chairman Paul Atkins, who's also doing an outstanding job in everything else he touches. He's doing a lot of things for the country, so I want to thank you very much. Great job. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Paul. We're also pleased to be joined by Executive Director of the President's Council with advisors with the digital asset. All of the digital assets are all put into one. Patrick Witt and many other top industry leaders, including Coinbase. Where's Brian? Brian Armstrong, CEO. He's one of the greats. Where is he? Where are you? Oh, you look well. You get much younger. You look good. CEO of International and Intercontinental Exchange, Jeff Sprecher. One of the things, a little thing called the New York Stock Exchange. He owns a thing called the...
Okay, I just saw it. Let's take a look at it here. Coconuts are real. He says that, Tony, did you see that Man USA One message I gave you? Okay. Okay, no, I didn't, but yeah, he comes on in here, man, and things. I know I was asking about him too, and stuff. Man USA One. I know I got. Let me see. I know what's his name, Red Hood. He come back on. I know he's also a mod in another channel. I think that was Hard Right that asked me that he wanted to be a mod. I see that he's a mod in what's the name channel? I think it's Deontay or one of those guys that he mod for. Yeah, I don't mind. You know, when he comes in, we'll make it happen, you know. And again, I welcome all of y'all to the chat. Oh yeah, let me see here. We got Gopindar. Is Gopindar is in here? Oh, there he is. Oh yeah, hold on for a minute before I start the show. Hold on for a minute, ladies and gentlemen. We got Gopindar. There he is, ladies. And I want to say, he always to let me know to tell y'all, ladies, he's single, you know. Gopindar is currently living over there in, excuse me. Gopindar is currently living in Pakistan presently, but he let me know to let you ladies know that he is a level 3 technician and he works on cellular phones. Yep, give a shout out to Gopindar. Yep. Gopindar, ladies and gentlemen. I knew he loved Trump. I knew it, you know. Gopindar really wanted to come over here to America and stuff with, you know, get his citizen right path, his pathway to citizenship, you know. Yeah, that's right. Coconuts are real. Yep, you're absolutely right. Angela, the child of God. She's in here in the room too. I thank you so much, Angela, the child of God. Amen to you. Let me see here. Look like we have Mud Butter is in here. Let me see here. Happy Mac is in here too. Let's see here. Mud Butter, Happy Mac. All right, let me see who else is in here. You already know we got Black Guy 9 is in here as well, too. Yep. Yep. We'll start it back up with Trump in a minute. I'm just acknowledging some of you guys right away. You know, I love seeing those American flags. Y'all know me. Y'all know I love them. You know, I love seeing them. Yeah, lets us know what country that we in, you know. Ain't that right, Gopindar, you know? Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I ain't seen you in a while, though, man. But, you know, shout out to you. Yeah, It's all good. It's all good. So, yeah, Red Hood is Deontay's mom. Yep, that's correct. You're absolutely right. Coconuts are real. So, yeah, we're going to make sure to make that happen. I've been meaning to make that happen. I've been so busy with stuff. Man, I'm trying to get myself caught up. You know what I'm saying? But let's go in there.
New York Stock Exchange,
And get this going.
quite a nice asset, right?
Yes, it is.
CEO of NASDAQ, Adina Friedman. Thank you very much, Adina. Great job you're doing. CEO of Robinhood, Vlad Tenev. Thank you, Vlad. Nice to see you. And CEO of Kraken, Arjun Sethi. And thank you very much, wherever you are. Thank you very much. Great group of people. We also have some others here that we wanted them. It's where's Mike, co-founder of CEO of CTO and president of BitGo, which is a big deal in the world of that thing, that little thing that's happening out there. And Brad Garlinghouse, CEO of Ripple. Brad?
Thanks, sir.
Thank you very much, Brad. Sergey Nazarov, co-founder of Chainlink Labs. Thank you very much. Good, Sergey. Good job. Arjan, you're here. Arjan,
I'm still here.
you're here. You haven't left. Peter Smith is here, and Tyler and Cameron Winklevoss, of tremendous people, tremendous investors, brilliant people. Chris Dixon is here. And I think I've sort of got anybody I didn't mention, by the way. Pretty much got the whole group. Good. They gave me 4 sets of lists, and that's always a little complex. You never want to say one more than 3 times. Under the crooked Joe Biden administration, the spirit of innovation that built America was under serious attack like never before. And nowhere was that more true than crypto and other new financial technologies, where we were going to be taken to the cleaners by China and other countries. The radical left tried to crush these developments with crippling regulations, brutal restrictions, weaponization. They used weaponization, political weaponization, and constant targeting that drove innovation overseas, and they wanted to drive it out. And at the end of toward the end of the campaign, if you remember, they decided they liked it very much because there were over 100 million people that were liking Trump a lot more.
Just want to say that this story broke a little earlier and things. So before I get into the show, I just wanted to show this here, you know, and things. This is Trump, you know, at the White House, obviously.
Because I was in favor of it, they were against it, and they became very much in favor of it. But by that time, it was too late. And besides, those days are all over. That was a terrible period of time for a lot of very good, very honorable financial people. On day one, we fired Joe Biden's rogue SEC chair, Gary Gensler. I think we like Paul better. Do we agree? We like Paul better?
Thank you.
Number one, he's smarter. He's also smarter, by the way. But we fired him. We got him the hell out of here. We terminated the so-called Operation Choke Point 2.0, which is what the name of their operation was, weaponization. And we ended the war on crypto once and for all. And it's been booming. It's been doing big. And nobody's been able to break in. China would like to break in. They're still trying, but they have been able to. I signed a historic executive order banning any attempt to create a central bank digital currency. We launched Project Crypto to modernize rules so that our financial markets can move into blockchain technology. I established the United States Strategic Bitcoin Reserve, making Bitcoin a permanent asset of the United States Treasury, which has turned out incredibly well. I also created the United States Digital Asset Stockpile to hold custody of all other digital assets, and that's exactly what it's done. It's been amazing. 1 year ago this summer, I signed landmark legislation known as the Genius Act. I named it after myself. I didn't want to use my name, so I just called it the Genius Act, paving the way for widespread adoption of dollar-backed Stable coins, and that's worked out very well. Every single American benefits enormously from our country's status as the financial center of the world, and we want to keep it that way. We're leading by leaps and bounds. We've gained so much in the last 16 months like nobody can believe, actually. Not only that, but we have more money being invested in the United States than any country at any time in history. Money's coming in by the trillions. Our nation's economic dominance drives trillions of dollars in investments, creates millions of jobs, and expands access, credit, and capital so that every citizen has a chance to achieve what we now hear a lot about, the American dream. Young people are looking for the American dream. They weren't thinking about that 2 years ago. New financial technologies are extending this American dominance into the 21st century, and that's why we're focused on creating a clear regulatory framework for pioneers and builders like the people that are with me here, so that they can do business with confidence on American soil. They don't have to go to other countries to do their business. We're ensuring that America remains the undisputed leader, not only in Bitcoin and crypto, but also technologies like prediction markets, artificial intelligence,
Paul in the
and
house.
much more, and we're leading in every single one. And I will tell you, the AI, the artificial intelligence, we're way ahead of number two. Number two is China. And I never want to underestimate China, but right now we're way ahead. President Xi's coming on September 24th. We look forward to it. We'll probably be talking about AI and a lot of other things. But we're doing tremendously well, largely because of people and some other friends of ours that are on the board. And they'll be here in 2 weeks, I understand. In May, Chairman Selig authorized the first ever true Bitcoin perpetual futures contract on a CFTC registered exchange, first time. I understand that Mike is also working to bring hyperliquid into the United States in a fully compliant and legal fashion. It's working very hard on that. We would really like to see interest rates come down. You know, in the old days with interest rates, many of you are too young to know this, but when we announced good numbers, interest rates would go down. And the theory was because the asset value became so good, it became so prime. But now when we announce good numbers, which we're doing all the time, they keep driving the interest rates up because they're so afraid of inflation. And they shouldn't be. They should allow interest rates to go down. When you announce good numbers, you shouldn't drive them up. They keep thinking that we'll drive them up to stop inflation, because success and growth does not cause inflation. Other things cause inflation. We inherited the #1 inflation ever in the history of our country from Biden, and it lifted prices and everything else, and we're getting them all down. But
Yeah, he does have a great point with Trump, because everybody know when we were under the Biden administration, it went as high as 9%. We are still in that inflationary period right now, you know what I'm saying? Because really, the rates should have been cut, but we had, at the time, you guys already know, what's that guy's name and stuff, that used to be the chair, the Fed chair, you know, not Kevin Walsh, but the dude before him, you know, Jerome Powell, right? So, yeah, so he didn't cut the rates either. He kept it because we know what their plan was. They wanted to really hoping to drive the prices up, inflation up, to make Trump look bad, right? They got to make Trump look bad. These are deep state sock puppets, you know, that work on the half of who? The parasitical global elite. And everybody see it now, right now, for what it really is. The only people, unfortunately, that don't want to see it is people who suffer from Trump derangement syndrome. Let's go ahead and play it some more.
interest rates should be allowed to fall with the success of our country, not rise because of the success. But we're also on the very beginning of a revolution in fictional and financial. You take a look at some of the things that are being done on a financial basis and the financial technology that's the potential to create more jobs, opportunity, and wealth for all Americans. And that's what it's doing. It's creating jobs and great wealth. And I think that can't be better seen by the stock market. So we've had 80 in a short period of time, a year and a half. We've had 80 days where the stock market hit all-time highs. I haven't looked today. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't look. I don't want to look. But I hear it's good. But we've had 80 days, Jeff, where the stock market has hit an all-time high. And nobody's ever seen anything like that. And I think bringing it down to another level, and maybe a higher level from the standpoint of importance, 401ks have hit record highs on almost 40% of the time that I've been president of the United States, and that affects tens of millions of people. The 401ks are at record numbers. So 2 years ago, our country was dead, and now our country is the hottest country anywhere in the world. There's nobody close. No other country is close, and every country will admit it. So now we need Congress to.
Yeah, just to address the question that was asked in the room here by Fox, the dark key, he says, I'm neither a Republican or a Democrat, but aren't we in a war? Actually, we've been in a war with Iran. It's just that Trump had the balls to finish it. And for right now, we are looking really good against Iran. Other than the propaganda, they won't even show the son of the Ayatollah that's supposed to be head of the IRGC, and we know he's mangled and stuff. They had an old photo before the war. Actually, it was a video before the war. I mean, before the bombing is what I want to try to say. But they won't show him because he's in pieces. He's pretty much a vegetable, you know. I'm talking about the son of the Ayatollah, you know. So therefore, it's just propaganda that they keep feeding the fake news and people that are buying it to act as if Iran still have leverage, and they don't. You know, they're broke, they are destitute. You know, there's people that are quitting in the military because they're not getting paid anymore. You know, so why stick around? So Trump, as planned, Trump is not in a rush with this thing, right? Because he can play this thing out. He knows they don't have much longer to go. And who's pushing Iran right now? It's the parasitical global elite. This is their backyard. And they're trying to maintain. Do not give in to Trump. Do not give up. Keep fighting. Keep fighting. Keep fighting. And so far, what is there to fight? You know? Because like it is, when you don't have money, it takes money to continuously fight against a war, especially against the United States. They don't have it. All their ships is down at the bottom of the sea. Their planes are not there. Few little drones they have and all the rest of the stuff. They're on life support right now. You know, I'm talking about the IRGC. And the people of Iran want this old Ayatollah regime destroyed and crushed. So let me go ahead and play some more of Trump here.
Take the next step by passing the Clarity Act, a fair version of the Clarity Act, and this landmark structure legislation. It's a very, very powerful structured legislation which will keep us ahead of China, keep us ahead of everyone else, will open the door to the next wave of innovations and innovators. So I'd like to ask Chairman Selig to say a few words and a little bit of the details about what we're doing, and then.
Yeah, I'm just going to address Fox of the dark key. Yeah, 3641. Yeah, nothing wrong with asking a question and stuff like that. I appreciate it. But yeah, if you're just not getting into politics, yeah, that's really cool, man. Yeah, there's several people out there that I would suggest to listen to and to watch, and therefore you can learn something as well too. There's another dude, Brian Craig. There's so many of them out there that you can check out. X22 podcast. There's so many of them out there. You know, DC Drano. There's so many of them out there, ladies and gentlemen. So let's go ahead and play some more.
We'll follow it up with Chairman Atkins and Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong, Intercontinental Exchange CEO Jeff Sprecher, Robinhood CEO Vlad Tenev, and Kraken CEO Arjan. So we have that all set, and let's get going. And you know what? If you want to speak for a very short period of time, that's okay too.
I'm going to address Brian Barden as well, 9187. You know, the war actually started with Iran. We can go as far back as Jimmy Carter. And ever since that, he started that war over there in Iran and things like that. They overthrew the Shah. They brought in the Ayatollahs, and it's been havoc ever since over there. This is Jimmy Carter's mess, if we were to go into history of it. And it wasn't Jimmy Carter a Democrat? Absolutely, right? And if you had a history of the presidents, Bush's, senior, junior, right? Clinton, right? Obama, neither of them, right? Obama was the one that sent, $1.7 billion into Iran? He was the one that gave them all type of weaponry and drones and missiles and everything else, though, you know. They kept it going. And plus, we know that Obama was the one that created ISIS as well, too. But look at it over here with Iran, though. This is their mess that they created. All roads lead to Obama, ladies and gentlemen. All roads lead to Obama.
Thank you.
There we go.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's an honor to be here with you and this exceptional group of business leaders. Thanks to your leadership, the era of political lawfare, debanking, and regulation by enforcement is over. Innovators like the people in this room are welcome to the White House, not railroaded to the big house.
Let me address Tony Barton one more time here. You keep saying that we started a war. We were already in a war with Iran, right? So it's a misnomer. So right there, when we didn't start a war, Trump said he did not. What did he say? No new wars. But we always been in a war with Iran. Iran is not a new war. It's just that Trump had the balls to finish it. And he's doing an excellent job with them. Because your other presidents, they were giving, look at Obama. How much money did he give him? $1.7 billion to Iran. This is like giving an enemy of the country money. Why did he do this? Right? That's the thing about it, though. See, guys, they don't really like answering questions when it's direct. See, what he's doing is just throwing stuff around, right? Now, when I checked him on that, then he goes back and say, oh, we are cult. Right? That's why I say these people are not even the people on the far left, because it's pretty obvious who he's rooting for. He's a DSA, probably a DSA member. He wants the DSA people. He wants these communist type of people to take over America, which will never happen. You know, but you need to brush up on your politics a little bit more, because I can already tell that you don't even know. You probably weren't even old enough when Jimmy Carter was around. Because if you know who he was and how dirty he was, you wouldn't be sitting up here saying that stuff. You know what I'm saying? You need to brush up a little bit more on your history, you know, as well.
And the new frontier of finance is being built right here in the United States of America. From day one, this.
Yeah, hard right. I got that message though too. So when the Red Hood come in here, I'll make him a mod. Yep, it's all good. All right, here we go.
President has been clear. America will not fall behind and allow other countries to take its place as the greatest country on earth to build a new.
I meant to say Dakota. Dakota asked me. Sorry about that, hard right. Welcome, hard right. I see you too.
Technology, operate a business, and invest for the future. The world will run on the backbone of American technology. Under President Trump's leadership, we've codified the Genius Act, established a strategic Bitcoin reserve, drawn a clear line in the sand between crypto securities and commodities, launched the first U.S. crypto perpetual, and protected the rights of software developers. We've exiled Gary Gensler, defeated the anti-crypto army, and made the United States the crypto capital of the world.
Yeah, you're right, though, Paula. I don't think he was even born. You know, I was definitely there. I don't think he was born when Jimmy Carter was around. And that's pretty, you know what I'm saying? You know, rightfully so. I don't think he was even born. You know, I noticed his information is more current. He kept referencing to last year when he says when the war started. We've already been in the war. But that's the thing about it, though, man. War. And you would have never known it had it would have been a Democrat in charge. You wouldn't have known that we were still in the war. They kept it from you. They didn't televise it, right? You know what I'm saying? It was here it is. These presidents were pretty much in partner with Iran. Iran went to war with other nations, neighboring nations, you know what I'm saying? Bullying them, you know what I'm saying? And all the rest of this stuff, man, please.
Proud to be working with Secretary Lutnick and the Department of Commerce as well to make America the compute capital of the world. This may be the most important commodity of our day. Some call it digital oil. And America needs to dominate these markets to win the AI race. We've also protected federally.
Wait, we got another question here. It says, how much did Trump send Iran? Trump didn't send Iran no money at all. He didn't send no money to Iran. Obama sent $1.7 billion to Iran, right? That's exactly what it is, though. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we got to, you know what I'm saying? We have to, do better with the information out there because, you know, I know propaganda, a lot of fake news. You got to keep in mind. I mean, just make this for the ones that's in here asking the questions and everything. Why did Trump call it the fake news? They don't have clearance. They don't have access to the White House. They don't have no type of media credentials anymore, right? The stuff that they're getting, right? They're not being fed like they used to. This stuff, they're more like on the outsider. So whatever they don't have access to, what Trump's next move, they make it up. This is why we call it more propaganda, right? Trump had to do the right thing to shut the fake news media down because they weren't telling the truth. At the time, CNN, CIA, they had access. Now they don't have access no more. And that's why you notice when, was that one woman he told her to be quiet? How disrespectful that she tried to talk over the president of the United States as if he was nothing. This is how bad the fake news, mainstream news is, right? Who does this, right? And expect to get a story. He just went on to the next person. He called him out for what she called the whole number. Trump don't even consider CNN as real news. I don't listen to CNN at all. I get my news sources from other stuff. I already even read ground news. I'll pay for the stuff that I listen to before I get some old fake news stuff trying to spin narratives. And that's what a lot of these people are doing when they come in here. They're just putting up propaganda that they done already heard, you know? Boy, I tell you, let's go ahead and play some more.
Regulated prediction markets from rogue state attorneys generals like Letitia James, who seek to nullify federal law and drive these markets offshore to unregulated and foreign venues. American dominance in the technologies that will define the...
Yeah, hard right. You ain't missing a whole lot with Jimmy Carter, man. He was one of the worst presidents in the U.S. history, though, you know. This guy here, well, if I were to pull up a lot of the dirty stuff that he did, you know what I'm saying? This dude was dirty. I'm talking about Jimmy Carter.
Future remains unmatched. We are truly in a golden age of American innovation. Now, the United States has a choice. We can either write the rules that define the next generation of financial markets, or we can let other countries write them for us. With Congress advancing the Clarity Act towards the finish line, we stand ready to implement the bill once the president signs it. But we'll use every tool available to move the president's pro-innovation agenda forward in the meantime. Tomorrow at the inaugural meeting of the CFTC's Innovation Advisory Committee, I look forward to sharing more details on our regulatory path forward. A path forward that...
Okay, if you guys are new here, please subscribe and like the channel and things. It helps get up in the algorithm and things. So therefore my stuff is seen and things, because all we do around here is tell the truth, right? And this is exactly what it is. But I'm playing with you for Trump. I'm playing Trump, and this went down earlier this afternoon and things. But I said I would cover some of it or most of it, and it's almost there. And then we're gonna go into the trash Democrat shithole cities that they created. So stick around for that. It's going to be very interesting.
Provides greater certainty for innovators while reinforcing confidence in our markets for decades to come. This president has assembled an extraordinary team of entrepreneurs, builders, investors, and business leaders advising in government, like David Sachs, of course, and Patrick Witt. This real-world experience has already brought valuable perspectives into policymaking, and it will continue to pay dividends for the American people. Innovation depends on regulatory clarity. Clear rules create confidence, confidence attracts investment, and investment creates jobs, strengthens our markets, and keeps the world's best talent building here in America. Mr. President, thank you again for your leadership and for making American innovation great again. The work we're doing now to shape the future of our great nation
Shout out to you, Earl.
Measures for
Coming
decades
out
to
of
come.
St. Cloud,
now
Minnesota.
I'm honored to introduce the most
Says Trump
pro-innovation,
2028.
pro-free market
No, that's
SEC
right.
chairman in America's
Appreciate
history,
you all,
and
man.
it's not Gary Gensler, of course. It's Paul Atkins. So, Mr. Chairman, please.
Well, thank you, Mike, and thank you, Mr. President, for having us here today. From day one, you've made our nation's financial dominance and innovation job one. We at the SEC are delivering on your agenda. We're making IPOs great again, to continue on your theme, by cutting red tape that discourages companies from going public. Under your leadership, Mr. President, the IPO market is booming. Since Inauguration Day, 583 companies have gone public, and that's up 75% compared to the final year and a half of the Biden administration.
79
and those
degrees,
companies have
it's
raised an
almost 80.
impressive
I'll still
$208
take it.
billion, and that's nearly 4 times the amount raised during the final year and a half of the previous administration. So that's just not incremental progress. That is a turnaround. You've committed to making the United States the crypto capital of the world. And yesterday, the SEC, I'm proud to say, took another significant step to deliver on that. Our proposal, the crypto assets rule, would provide crypto entrepreneurs like those here in this room and job creators the certainty to raise capital in the United States using digital assets. This action is consonant with our belief that the most important priority is for Congress to
Yeah,
send
you're right about that,
the Clarity
Pat.
Act to
Yeah.
your desk for your
Biden
signature.
can never keep up with
And
Trump.
the SEC is doing everything we can to support.
I mean, let's face it, though. We know that Biden was controlled by Obama, man. It's pretty obvious right there, you know. Basement Obama and things. He was the true Manchurian candidate and things. But other than that, though, we're seeing right now, we're already getting things are a lot better since Trump have taken the helm. Jobs are coming in here, manufacturing, supply chain, automotive and things. It's going to take some time to build these factories. It's not overnight, but we look a lot better. Now we got Kevin Walsh in there as the new Fed chair and things like that. They're actually going to be going after the weaker links. We got to get Lisa Cook out of there. We got to get others out of there. So therefore, he can start adjusting the actual, because really, ultimately, we study slowly being weaned off of the Federal Reserve, right? This is not going to be a institution that's going to be basically in charge anymore. Because right now, since he already got Scott Bassett, you know, the Treasury, the Secretary Treasury, you know, of the U.S., you know, and so forth, Treasury. Look what's going on now, though, you know. So everything is going accordingly to plan when it comes down to Trump, because he's a planner, right? And he's a builder, right? Because ultimately, when we start to see the Federal Reserve go away, it was unconstitutional. This monstrosity shouldn't have never been built. But more and more people, you know, are looking at the Federal Reserve right now. You already know Jerome Too Late Powell didn't know what he was doing, but he was being controlled because he's another sock puppet, you know? So that's what they're doing. Slowly but surely going to get rid of the Federal Reserve. Therefore, going to pay back that deficit that that this country owes. We may not even owe that much, because once again, they can find fault of what the Federal Reserve and the other criminals have been doing. We may not even have to pay that much, right? But to pay that balance off, get rid of the Federal Reserve. Therefore, the U.S. can start minting the money, controlling the money again. And like you said, we're already in the golden age right now, because as Trump and the Patriots, right, are steady advancing ahead, the Dems are losing ground big time, right? They already lost Venezuela. I'm talking about the deep state, parasitical elite class. They're on the way. Iran is on the way coming out of their hands, you know. Then we got to deal with Cuba. It's other players, you know, is what I'm trying to say, that's going to be removed out of power, right? And this is what it is. This is a big 5D chess game that Trump is playing, right? And he's playing with his life as well as our lives, right? And this is why we back Trump, right? You guys don't have no other choice. You're going to sit up here and leave it a chance like the DNC? I'm sorry, the DSA is what I'm trying to say. Because can y'all imagine if the DSA were to take over America? You know they're going to impeach Trump, throw him in prison, they're going to go after every single, we're talking about the Constitution is going to be hacked. They're going to get rid of the Electoral College, get rid of the filibuster, right? They're going to have mass immigration that the world ain't, you know what I'm saying, ever seen before. I mean, we've seen it, but it's going to be even massive, right? You're going to start seeing it, man. It's going to be disastrous, right? Because that's the job, is to bankrupt America and make China the superpower. And that is the actual plan of the globalists, right? They always had this on plan, and then giving some education for some of you guys that may not even know what the agenda is. This is the agenda that they're trying to do. That's why they're trying to stop Trump. They're using propaganda. These people that come in here, they only just repeating propaganda that they already have heard, because the lying, low down, fake news media done a great job of putting the images of Trump. They're supposed to be a hater. He's supposed to be a racist. He's supposed to be a criminal and all this other kind of stuff. Boy, I tell you though, and Trump is steady advancing. You know what I'm saying? Trump has so many wins, career wins over the DNC. It's unreal. You know, that's why they're broke. The DNC is actually broke, right? This is another thing. How in the hell can you win elections when you're broke? How in the hell can you win elections when you're always talking about TDS stuff all the time? The people of America got tired of hearing that. It didn't work for Kamala Harris, nor would it work for any other politician. Now, look at it, what's happening. A civil war going on, infighting. You got progressives, right? And you also have these moderates. The progressives are in the bed with the DSA. That's why I call them under the same umbrella. So it ain't really much difference, right? But they've been winning these elections, removing some of these old, either progressive or some of these moderates. You guys seen the trend that has been happening. Good thing we shut down Francesca Hong, Hong Kong Phooey, #1 super guy, right? So that threat has been pretty much neutralized, right? And things, and more to come, right? So that's the thing about it, ladies and gentlemen. We are heading towards the right direction. Trump is turning this big, massive ship around and turning it back to the right, because when it's on the right, it's all right, right? Let me go ahead and play Trump again. Yep. Here we go.
That work. So thank you again, Mr. President, for leading this nation to ensure that we continue to have the strongest markets in the world, to reshore innovation, and to welcome, yes, a whole new generation of investors through the Trump accounts. So under your leadership, we will make sure that the greatest advance.
Hold on for a minute. What is this guy's name? I call him Damien. Damn. That was Florida off the good times. Couldn't help it. He says, what's crazy is how many deals Trump has made with other countries and the amount of jobs that have come back to the United States. Yeah, because what was it when I pulled it out? I think it was $8.4 trillion. He got a lot of tech companies, domestic as well as foreign. Everybody want to come. He just said it recently at Toyota. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of adding on to it. But yeah, man, it's a beautiful thing, isn't it? This is what true leadership is like. We have never seen this amount from tech companies, semiconductor and all the rest of them, Toyota, automotive industry, supply chain, all these factories. We probably won't be up until about maybe next year or so. But the good thing about it, ladies and gentlemen, is that jobs are come to the shores of America. And that's really what it's all about, though. This is what we call winning. This is exactly what it is. I'm going to play Trump again. And for you guys that's coming into the room, make sure you hit the like button, man, and hit that subscribe button as we go on.
Pieces of the technological frontier are right here in America. So thank you very much.
Well, this morning I was thinking back to the 2024 campaign where the president, I think, very astutely recognized there was millions of voters in the United States who felt disenfranchised by the prior administration. And he made a commitment at that time to make America the crypto capital of the world. And within weeks of taking office, delivered on that promise. And it started first with this executive order, which came out ordering the agencies in his administration to take steps in this direction. Shortly thereafter, appointed two of the most competent and pro-innovation regulators anywhere in the world, Chair Selig and Chair Atkins, and of course fired Gary Gensler. There was that big applause line at the Bitcoin conference, which was powerful. And of course, the Genius Act was another milestone just in the past year, along with the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve, et cetera. And just this week, I have to commend Chair Atkins for publishing this new rule that allows crypto projects to raise capital in the US for the first time. There's clarity on that. And Chair Selig, we're excited to attend the advisory committee meeting tomorrow to make progress there. So an incredible amount of progress has been made, and I think what's most important next, of course, is this September 15th vote that we have with the Clarity Act. This.
Oh, yeah. I got you, Red Hood, man. I have you. I talked about you earlier. Yep, I got you covered, man. Welcome to the chat, man. Welcome, Red Hood, again. Yeah, he moderates over on Deontay's channel, which I have seen you mod over there. I've been meaning to make you a mod, man. I apologize about that. Here we
would
go.
Make all of the progress that this administration has made durable into the future, so it could survive for decades and decades to come. And make no mistake, there are folks out there who they want to see this legislation not happen, right? Maybe some of the big banks don't want the competition from crypto companies. Other banks are leaning in and have endorsed it, which I think is really powerful. And so if we all come together, I think we can get this bill over the finish line and hopefully get more than 60 votes come September 15th. Thank you.
And it's very bipartisan, I would say, so.
Very-
say that. Very much.
That is true.
A lot of Democrat support.
There's hundreds of pages of changes that have come in from the Democrat side as well. It's a true bipartisan compromise, and yeah, it's a great work product. So up next, I think, is Jeff Sprecher.
Sorry.
Thank you. Mr. President, I just wanted to tell you that, that your trade policies of fair trade to bring back jobs and businesses from overseas, your energy dominance policies to fuel the next generation of.
Let me just address the question here, but JC, it said off at 1050. He said, "Why are all these commies coming out of the woodwork?" Right? It's because we are undoing the managed decline of the West? Question mark. No, thing about it is that this, like I said before, they always have been commies. DSA, socialists. It's just a soft word of not using the word communist. I mean, look in the black community and what they have done over there over the past 50, 60 years, almost up to 70 years. You've seen the decline of America when the decline of the black community, that's where it started, and then it started spreading out into America. However, it's that they took the mask off. They thought or felt that they were in control. They had enough people and things under Bernie Sanders, AOC, and some of the other ones. That's why we have Mondami. We also have, Abdul Saeed and some of these other people. They're using the Muslims as well, too, to push communism and things. So we see the plan as to what's happening. This is how you know God works, is that the people, it was right on time, though, because we've been already alerted about the DSA. And they try to come off as this caring party and things. You've seen the policies that they actually have, defunding the police. They want to get rid of the prison systems. They want to get rid of the military. They want to bring in a drove of illegals in this country. We already know their policies. I went over their core values and their belief systems. Do not believe them when they say that, because they've been pushing back on the defunding the police. They know that drives polls down every time they mention it. They were told to stay away from these words. But one thing about it, people are not ignorant and stupid and dumb, right? Because like it is, we are far out ahead and they are underwater like the great Titanic sinking right to the bottom. And when it come down to these debates, they're going to be destroyed out there, because people have already heard. Going back to people like Abdul El-Saeed, was it 2019? When he made some of these statements, which one of them said that they were happy that 9/11 had happened? This is going to be things that's going to hurt a politician, right? I'm talking about career. It's going to hurt them because they got it documented of them saying it. And once again, when you are a commie, you don't change of not being a commie. You always are a communist. This is not, I saw the light. No, there's no revelation seeing the light. This is what they are. Right? All we're saying is that they expose themselves, right? All we're doing is sounding an alarm and saying, hey, this is what the DSA really is, right? They're an anti-American establishment party, right? They're trying to establish themselves here, and we're not going to allow it to grow legs. So let me go ahead and play this some more. Just want to touch on that a little bit.
Technology in the United States. Your big, beautiful bill that created incentives for investments has led to the records that you're hearing about in our stock markets, the record number of IPOs. And as you know from working with my wife who works on private businesses, there's a record number of business formations in this country right now. Okay. So we're here to talk about how to evolve regulation so that we don't impede that progress. But one of the things I can tell you about the New York Stock Exchange is that it was formed at the time of our country. And so
let me take care of you right now, Red Hood. I'm sorry about that. Hold on for a minute. I know how you get down too, man. Hold on for a minute. Let me see here. Yeah, just give me one moment and make Red Hood a mod real quick and things. So just give me one moment. It ain't gonna take that long. All right, let me see here. Some random guy speaks. All right, let's take a look at it here. I gotta pull up my own channel here. All right, let me see here, and therefore we can go ahead and I gotta pull up my own channel here. Let's stop that there. Hear myself, hear my voice. All right, here we go. All right, gotta fly in here though. I'm gonna take care of him much later. But other than that, though, he liked my lights. What can I say? Let me see here. I'm over here looking through the chat right now. Give me one moment. I'll go ahead and make him a mod real quick. You know, so I see these MAGA hats in here too, looking really cool. And these are members where I'm gonna have a member only chat and things. But let me see here. Where is Red Hood at? Hold on for a minute. Hey, Red Hood, could you type something so I can see and therefore I can go on ahead and make you a mod real quick, you know, before I forget, you know. Yeah. Okay. And I appreciate all the likes too and the subscribes. I wish I can actually see who's subscribed. Only way I can do that is I'm on vertical on YouTube itself. But I'm working on ways to be able to find out, you know, so therefore, because I would love to give you guys the, you know, the recognition of becoming a subscriber, you know. I really do. And I appreciate the likes. I can see those, you know. Let me see. Where is Red Hood? I'm not seeing him here. Could a Red Hood, could you type something in the chat? And then therefore I can go ahead on and make you a mod real quick. Yeah. I just want to make sure I get you properly here. In fact, let me do this. I'll pause this here. All right. Let me see. Let me see here. Let me see. Why am I not seeing Red Hood? I see him in the other thing here. Okay. Okay, he'll type in a minute. Maybe it's some type of lag there. All right, so yeah, and let me go ahead and pull back up Trump. All right, whoops, no, it's the wrong one here. All right, hold on for a minute. All right, there we go. Oh, that's not it. Did I leave off that page? Wait a moment. Hold on, guys. Oh, yeah, that's right. It was under the White House. There we go. It was under the White House. Here we go, guys.
For 250 years has been subject to every single financial services regulation that has ever passed in the United States, bar none. And so one of the things that I'm so thankful that you've done is put two really strong chairs in these seats and ask them to go through past legislation, regulation, and figure out what we can get rid of that no longer serves the interests of this country. And for that, I really appreciate that on behalf of the New York Stock Exchange.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Mr. President, thank you for bringing us together and for your work to ensure the next generation of Americans has a stake in the country's economic success through the Trump accounts and many other things. Thank you all.
Yeah, I talked about the Trump accounts on my lives before. You guys are aware of the Trump accounts. That's for any child that's born between 2025, 2026, where they get $1,000 automatically set up in their account. And they got some big tech giants that's backing this to make this possible, such as Michael Dell and his wife, and there's a few others, though. Isn't that beautiful, man? Those are the Trump accounts, you know, and things. So let's go ahead and play that.
So to Chair Seelig, Chair Atkins, your administration, for the work underway to strengthen American capital markets and expand opportunity for all Americans. If I had to sum up Robinhood in one word, it would be ownership. Broad ownership is essential to a free, stable, and prosperous society. That belief has shaped pretty much every product we've built, from commission-free investing to 24-hour trading, and now outside the United States to tokenization, which we're using to expand ownership of American assets to people in more than 120 countries. Yet this innovation is reaching investors abroad before investors here back home. And the opportunity goes far beyond public markets. Tokenization will open up markets that have long been out of reach, including private companies. Today, too much economic value is being created before ordinary investors get a chance to participate. Expanding ownership also requires protecting investors. Innovation and investor protection aren't opposing goals. America became the world's capital markets capital.
And then again, ladies and gentlemen, Trump stopped it, because we're being ripped off with China. China, man, the great red dragon, it was just swinging its tail, breathing fire, devouring a lot of American innovation, right? And things like that, where they just rip us off of our proprietary intelligent knowledge and everything like that. It was just taking stuff, right? This is what they were doing, though, But Trump stopped it, right? He stopped the out of control chaos and madness that was going on in China, right? And everybody knew it, Intellectual property is what I was trying to say.
By
Go
doing
ahead.
both. And the chairs here understand that. American companies are building this technology. American markets are powering it. American assets are also at the center of it. American investors should not be the last to benefit. We look forward to continue to work together to expand ownership, build the next generation of capital markets, and ensure America leads the way. Thank you.
Great job.
Yeah, it's a great thing, ladies and gentlemen. And once again, this is not overnight. He said the next generation. What is it, 20 years for a generation? So, right now, what Trump, lightning speed. This guy, he has a right to I don't mind him being sleepy sometimes, because Trump has been a machine ever since he won the election again, right, 2024. And then when he got, let's say, the inauguration, he just been a machine ever since, though, signing all these executive orders, trying to get them all codified. That's going to make them very difficult for another president to come in here and change this stuff. He wants to get rid of the IRS. He wants to get rid of the Federal Reserve Bank. He wants to make America economically strong, right? And not just economically strong, right? But the leader of crypto, right? Currency, right? As well as AI. This is a race trying to beat China, right? And we're doing a very good job. For what I hear, we're ahead, right? Because whoever controls AI controls the information, the flow of information. And Trump, by him being a constitutional president and a transparent president, he wants to make sure that we control this technology, right? So therefore, we want to beat China. You know what I'm saying? This is America, right? And we have beat other nations before. And this ain't the first time. USA, make America great again. Here we go.
Arjun.
Hello, everyone. I was thinking about what I was going to say today. Most of the time, I don't speak too much, but the first time I met the president, he said, "What does your company do?" And I said, we're a startup. We move at warp speed. And the first thing he said is, "Why not at Trump?"
All right, let me see if I can see coconuts. I'm sorry, see if I can see Red Hood in here. Hold on for a minute. Here, and therefore we can go. All right, hold on for a minute. See everybody else. I definitely got you covered, Red Hood. I'm going to have to go. If I don't see you here, why am I not seeing you here? Okay, hold on for a minute. All right, let's go ahead and play, All right, hold on for a minute. Yep, I got you covered, though, Red Hood, so I'm going to make you a mod, I promise. I'm going to make you a mod today, so So for some reason, I'm having trouble seeing his name listed, though. Not for sure as to why it's not showing up in the main YouTube room for some whatever reason. But we'll worry about that later. Show must go on. I got you covered. Okay. Oops. I appreciate all the likes too. Hold on for a minute. Let me go back and pull this up. Okay, here we go.
Speed. So we started acting that way. Look, our mission at Kraken isn't about Kraken. Brian created Coinbase. Vlad here, you have ICE, NASDAQ. They created the world markets. And all we're trying to do is make sure that everyone in America has the ability to be able to succeed in the same way that we did. And that's essentially how we think about it. So our motto at Kraken has been fix money, we fix the world. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Ray. And if you have any questions, or if anybody else of this very distinguished, would somebody like to say something? My male models who happen to be genius, they're brilliant and they look good, right? But anybody, would you like to say something? Go ahead, please.
Just want to thank you, Mr. President, for all of your leadership. America should lead in crypto and win in markets like prediction markets. And with your leadership and your administration, you're helping America lead here and become the crypto capital of the world. So thank you very much.
All right, I'm going to use the restroom real quick. I will be right back.
I just want to thank you, Mr. President, as well as Chairman Atkins and Chairman Selig for the great work that they're doing.
All right. Got that one there. And I got that one there. Hold on for a minute.
I just want to say that what Chairman Selig and Chairman Atkins are doing and the President has enabled with his leadership is actually working. So if you look at stablecoin usage and adoption, it's increasing the usage and distribution of the U.S. dollar at higher and higher levels than our industry has ever seen, specifically because of the Genius Act and the movement of more and more treasuries into stablecoins and therefore into more and more hands across the world. And now the tokenization of equities, thanks to Chairman Selig's and Chairman Atkins' great work and collaboration and actual work together rather than working against each other as before, is going to distribute U.S. equities globally and increase the distribution of those. So, we power a lot of these applications and companies, so we know what the numbers actually are, and they're massively increasing because we have regulators and leadership that enables the success and distribution of these U.S.-based assets. So there's actually a very real and tangible outcome that's really now benefiting the U.S. and adoption of U.S.-issued assets and the U.S. dollar. So I just want to mention that it really is working and hitting all-time highs. So thank you very much.
Sure.
Thank you.
So if you have any questions, we have a meeting next week with the AI people. The top people are coming in, so we can talk about that. But we're leading by a lot with AI. We want to keep it that way. We want to regulate, but we want to have it regulation where they can continue to lead, not regulation that's going to stifle a very important industry. I think maybe bigger than the internet, bigger than anything anyone's seen. And we're helping in that regard, especially with regard to allowing them to produce their own electricity, which everyone thought was crazy that it would never be approved. We're getting them fast 2- and 3-week approvals. They're building some of the greatest electric plants anywhere in the world because our grid is old and tired and weak, and they're actually giving the excess electricity into the grid, but they're building power plants that nobody's ever seen anything like it. We're not using the power from the grid. We're using brand new power, so it's a great thing because that misconception has been out there that we're taking electricity, we're actually creating electricity, and that's something I was proud of because that was my idea. Nobody believed it. Actually, it went along for 2-3 weeks. I said, how come these guys aren't submitting? Well, they thought that you were just kidding because that's the way it's been in this country. Nobody would ever say a thing like that. But no, they're building power plants, the likes of which, all different, fueled all different ways, but the likes of which we've never seen. The people that are in the power business said we're seeing things that we've never seen before because a very high level of intelligence is doing it. So it's been great. Okay, any questions?
Mr. President.
Yeah, please.
Mr. President, does the administration have any plans to accumulate sizable amounts of Bitcoin or other crypto?
Well, it's been talked about. I think I'd probably rely on Paul and the whole group for that. He'll make a decision. You guys will make a decision. And you'll let me know. But certainly it's been talked about. It's taken a lot of pressure off the dollar. It's been very, very good for the dollar. And I think if you came in with recommendations, two of you, if you came in with some recommendations, I would certainly listen. It seems to be a pretty big subject. Yes, please.
Hi, President Trump. I have two quick questions.
And look like we have Denise Farmer in the house. Hold on for a minute. I got to acknowledge Denise. Yep. There we go. Denise Farmer, ladies and gentlemen. Denise Farmer. She's also a member as well as a mod, my mod squad. Welcome, 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 Denise Farmer. I'm going to go ahead and play some more with
Go
Trump.
ahead.
Don't get around here much. So my first question is, we're talking about AI and crypto a lot.
Right.
You won overwhelmingly with working class Americans in 2024, tens of millions of working
Right.
class Americans. Many of them, they say, we love President.
Okay, I understand, Paula. You got to get the laundry out the way. It's all good, though, too, Yep, it's all good. You got to fold clothes and stuff. But she says she'll still be listening. And that's cool, though, Boy, I'm talking about laundry. I got to do mine. All right. I know, right? All right, here we go. Go ahead and get Trump here.
But we're still cautious about AI and
Yeah.
crypto. What do you say to those who are still
Got Dakota.
reticent to
Dakota
embrace
in the
this?
house.
So I think it's a great question, and I think it's going to create a lot of jobs. It's going to create success. It's going to create tremendous innovation medically. I mean, they're coming up with already, amazingly, they came out with something today that I looked at it having to do, I won't go into the details, but having to do with a pretty unstoppable disease, and all of a sudden they're coming up with answers that they.
Let me say this. I'm just going to address Ken. He said, why did Trump chicken out on the tariffs in Canada? Trump didn't chicken out, though. Remember, tariffs can also get other countries to work with Trump, in this case, with America and Trump, right? So he used leverage as, basically leverage. And Mark Carney was so afraid because, did you know that Canada bent the knee to Trump? I don't know if he knows this or not, Ken. Yeah, Canada bent the knee to Trump. I'm talking about Mark Carney. Mark Carney is nothing but a global elite sock puppet. It's going to keep it real, right? But yeah, they bent the knee. So they got to adhere to we got to give in to all the Trump demands. So it wasn't that Trump chicken out. They are the ones that chicken out. They are the ones that's bending the knee to Trump, and they have to go along and play ball now. Beautiful thing. Ain't that how sweet tariffs work? Boy, I tell you, man, this is why we voted for this man, right? Because Trump can get the job done, ladies and gentlemen.
Never thought were possible, and things that they never even would have thought about. So I think it's really creating jobs. And I can tell you one thing.
I appreciate
if you look
the
at our
Silver
construction
Star.
jobs right now, because we're
Yeah, Angela, child of God, I appreciate boy, look at that. I appreciate that Silver Star. Look at that Silver Star, boy. Oh, yeah. I appreciate it. Hit the button twice. It's all good. All right, here we go.
building more plants, factories, things that really have something to do with the AI. But
let me address Reggie real quick. He says that Reggie Lark 6025 says 40 trillion debt. 40 trillion in debt, right? How would he be paid? As I mentioned earlier, I don't know if you were in the room, because again, if Trump can show fault, right, with the Federal Reserve and how they were taking advantage of the American people, which we can, we may not even have to owe that amount. It's going to be old. It's going to be something old, but we have enough, right, money coming back with the tariffs, the businesses that are building manufacturing, a lot of other things. So Trump knows what he's doing. Slowly, right, going to be weaning us off. We still got to play in the illusionary, U.S. Treasury, right, or the Federal Reserve. I'm sorry, I meant to say the Federal Reserve. We still have to play into the illusionary, Federal Reserve, right, as we coming off of that, because we're going to be moving from that into a tariff, a income-based system, not a debt-based system that we are under right now. And it takes time. Trump is doing it delicately, because if he were to pull us out of the illusionary, central bank, which is the Federal Reserve, it'd be a bunch of disaster. But don't worry about how we're going to pay it. Just know that Trump knows what he's doing, and that, like I said, we may not even have to owe that amount due to a lot of corruption, which there is, and how we ended up getting in this situation in the first place.
Car factories, car plants, they're moving into our country. Honda just announced, Toyota just announced they're moving their operations from Mexico, from Canada, from other places. We, by the way, probably have a deal with Canada. You probably saw that. We very major tariffs were going on to Canada today. We delayed it for 3 days because I think we have a deal with the Prime Minister and good deal for everybody. So that's good.
Let's make it clear in regards to socialism and communism. I went over this stuff so many times on chat. Both systems want to take from private capital. We're talking about capitalists, being a capitalist system that we are, and where a lot of private businesses are. You know, socialism and communism wants to take. They want to take that away. We're talking about private ownership, right? So they want to take that away. It's not much difference, right? But they want to see, because most people don't really understand. They're not teaching this stuff in school no more. That's why with the children, you notice, they all rah, yeah, it sounds so good. Yeah, tax the rich and all this other stuff. You know, look at it. For their systems to work, socialism, communism, in order, it's all the same. If they want their system to work, it's going to be off of the backs of capitalists, private business, they take it. It ain't no asking. They go in the season, just like Montgomery did over in New York. If you're confused about socialism and communism, man, just look at New York. Look at New York, and we're going to get into it with the failing blue cities and so forth. We're going to get into the shitholes that they created, right? We're going to get into it in a minute. Let me go ahead and address it. I had to get in on that one, though.
But the construction jobs are enormous. We're building the biggest plants anywhere in the world. And I can say if I were the mayor of a town or the governor of a state and I had a chance to get a big plant in, an AI plant or a data center, I would absolutely want it because the jobs are enormous and the money paid, the taxes paid are just enormous. And if you don't take it, you're going to be left behind because there are plenty of...
Yeah, I'm just going to address Ken for a moment. Canada already folded. As I mentioned earlier, Mark Carney folded because Canada don't have no leverage to back up against. I mean, you know, we get some of our products over here, but they have to be paying that 50%. I think it's 50% tariff. Or was it 20%? It was one of the two. That's a lot of money for Canada for it to be like what? The size of California? Because, you know, the people in Canada, 80% of them live along the side of along the border. Those are border cities. When you cross over on the other side, they all on the border. They don't have the economy that we have, right? America is an economy that everybody wants to play in, but it's going to come with a cost, right? It's not going to be the days of how it used to be anymore, where a lot of these countries were taking advantage of America because they were winning. They didn't pay very little tariffs or none at all because we were up under who was controlling it. We already know. It was a debt-based system because all the globalists cared about is just taxing the poor anyway. They attacked the people of wealth as well as the poor. It hurts us even harder, right? And that's where they were getting their money from. See, that's a debt-based system versus a income-based system with the tariffs, right? Because the more tariffs we collect from other nations, and I know right now it's a little pain period because some of these companies that are American especially, you got to pass it on certain products onto the customer in America temporarily. It's a temporary pain. It's not permanent. Because where we're going, ladies and gentlemen, is like what Trump said, man. This is the golden age for America, and we are winning, and things like that. So other than that, they already conceded, right? And that's basically what it is. No sense to keep talking about that.
Places that want it. So I would say that maybe it can use a little public relations help. But if I were a governor or mayor, I would want that plant in my community, and many of them are designed in a very beautiful way. It's really very positive. Okay, thank you.
A little off topic. So you mentioned Joe Biden and some of the past leadership, and it's been about 69 days.
Let me take a look, Red Hood.
Sometimes when you look at Congress, it looks like the cast of
Yeah.
moon. But I read a Cindy Adams column.
I was having troubles trying to see you. Let me see here. See if I can see Red Hood now. Should be able to see him. Let me see here. Oh, yeah, it's got a lag. Oh, okay, that's why I'm having trouble seeing. I figured so. Yeah, it's a lag right now, though. It hadn't even caught up to us in real time, though. There's a bit of a lag on that. But I got you covered, though. I got you. Yeah, it's a bit of a lag, though. Ain't that interesting, man? Okay, no problem. Yeah, it's a bit of a lag there, man. Wow. Let's go ahead and get back on the White House here. I got you covered.
Recently, and she talked about how we need term limits and someone needs to hold Congress accountable. Maybe you should be the person to do it. Would you support term limits for Congress or some kind of cognitive testing? Because maybe if we had that the last 4 years, we wouldn't have ended up in some of these messes.
So term limits are very popular with the public. I've seen it both ways. I've seen where people go in and they get termed out, and they're very talented, and they're at the height of their career, politicians, and you end up with total rookies in there, nothing gets done. And I've seen it the other way, where people are there too long. We see that all the time. I see both. I always like to say that a term limit is an election. The public's pretty smart. You see that last night. We had some great success last night. The Republican Party had tremendous success last night. But I like to say that term limits should be elections. But I'm okay with term limits. Remember, the people that have to pass term limits are the people that are going to be voting on them to get out of office. So it's a little bit tough. That's not the easiest vote to get, is it, huh? But I'm okay with it one way or the other. I do think elections really term people out.
Mr. President, I want to ask you about Canada, but first, the Treasury Secretary says that we could see the most impactful sanctions on Iran this week.
Okay, I got you, Red Hood.
And what else could be sanctioned on Iran?
Well, we have things that we could sanction. We have very draconian sanctions, and we'll see what happens. Right now, the strait is open. A lot of boats are coming through. People aren't reporting that, and that may slow down a little bit at some point. But right now, a lot of boats are coming through. The naval blockade has been extremely effective. Zero, literally, while it's up, and that's been for quite a while, except for a couple of little pauses where we opened it purposely with a deal. But the deal didn't terminate. The deal didn't turn out to be what they said. But we opened it purposely. Tell us one thing and they do another. But the blockade has been 100% successful. No boats have gotten into Iran, but they are getting in for other places. But we'll see. We're going to see what happens. It'll either be extremely good and oil prices are going to drop like a rock, or we'll continue to do exactly what we're doing. They were talking about $350 a barrel, and it's today 84, 85. And we are getting a lot of oil out. But the other thing that's happened is people have found other alternatives, which they never thought about. Texas, Alaska, Louisiana, and other places. In addition, a lot of pipelines, record numbers of pipelines are being built. So I think the Hormuz Strait's not going to be quite as important as it was in the past.
Now, on Canada, if I can ask you, you said that there's a deal, an agreement in place. Are you willing to lower tariffs on steel and aluminum?
Well, we're looking at that. Yeah. Well, we're getting zero for our farmers. Farmers have been hurt very badly by Canada, and they won't be paying any tariffs.
I just saw Red Hood in here when I went to go click it. Oh, yeah, there he is. Okay. Let me see here. Yeah, it's not doing. Oh, I know why. Silly me. I'm not even signed in. I was kind of wondering as to why that is. Okay, guys, just one moment. I'm so used to being signed in all the time. It is. All right. Okay. Now we got it. Okay, that's why it was not allowing me to make him a mod. Let me see here. Let's take a look at it here. Come on. Oops. Okay, guys, just one moment. I'm so used to being signed in all the time. But it is. All right. Okay. All right, there we go. So much easier when you're on YouTube, the app itself, ladies and gentlemen. It's so easier. All right, Red Hood, you are mod now. There we go.
Anymore. And we may bring some of the tariffs down to a level where other countries are, because Canada was paying a higher tariff. Canada was paying us a higher.
All right, guys, you said congratulate Red Hood. He has monetary, he's a moderator rights and things. So therefore, congratulate him, Mod Squad. He's part of the Mod Squad, Boy, look at that, though, Where's my sound effects at, though? There we go. Appreciate it.
Higher tariff. So we have a very nice relationship with leadership right now. and we'll see. But we did a 3-day pause. It was supposed to be a 50% straight across the board tariff that was going into effect at 7 o'clock this morning. And I delayed it at the request of Canada for 3 days so we can iron out the details. But it's going to be a wonderful deal, hopefully a wonderful deal for everybody. Yeah.
Mr. President, earlier today you said.
He said it's going to be a wonderful deal. So, you know what I'm saying? So there it is. Canada begged Trump, please, 50% tariff, please, please, Mr. Trump, President Trump, please, you know. So this is probably going to be good news for Canada if they learn to play ball, you know. Got to play ball, you know. And if you're able to do that, because Trump is all about making deals. But Canada, if you renege, you know, it can hurt. So stay true to your word, you know. And they're going to meet at the negotiating table, man, and we're looking forward to that, you know. And therefore, we can be able to, you know, where both countries can prosper, you know, as opposed to being one-sided like it was before. There we go. Boy, let's hear Trump.
North Korea has something like 57 nuclear weapons. They've been expanding their nuclear
Yeah.
program. Is your goal in trying to re-engage with Chairman Kim still denuclearization? And what makes you think you could be successful now when you weren't?
Well, I don't want to talk about that, but I do have a good relationship with Kim Jong-un. As you know, you've seen. He didn't like Biden. He didn't like Obama. He didn't like anybody, but he likes me, and I just got along with him very good. We had great meetings. We speak. And I think our nation and I think other nations, frankly, whether it's Japan or South Korea, they're a lot safer if I'm president than if somebody else is president. Now, I didn't like the fact that we're doing these massive military exercises really against North Korea. It was an exercise against North Korea. When I'm friendly with him, when we have, I don't see anything happening for certainly 2.5 years. It's not going to happen with me. But I don't see anything happening. And I was not happy when South Korea said, no, they're not interested in helping us with the Hormuz Strait. And yet they get 60% of their oil from the Hormuz Strait. I said, would you like to help us? He said, no, thank you. I said, that's nice, please, thank you. He made us a lot of money. I didn't like that. So I felt that to do we were doing a massive war exercise. I thought that was very insulting to somebody that, frankly, has been, during my term at least, very well behaved. Yeah.
On the bond market, is the administration done enough to stabilize the bond market after yesterday?
Well, I think it is, but I mean, it's very sad. Every time we do great, we announce great numbers, the interest rates go up. And they go up because they want to stop inflation. They should go down because the country's strong. You know, I see countries like Switzerland where they're the #1 lowest interest rates, 0.5%, and we pay 3.5%. And yet, if we stop doing business, for instance, I have the absolute right to cut off all business with a country like Switzerland, like anything. So why are they prime if I can cut off the business and they are no longer functional? And yet they're considered to be like an elite country. And I don't want to single them out because there's 60 countries like that. They live off the United States. So why are we paying higher interest rates than them? You know, in the old days, we used to pay the lowest interest rate, no matter how we were doing, because we sort of generate for the whole world. And I want to see it where interest rate, and I have to tell you, we have a wonderful chairman. I think he's doing a great job. The problem is he has a board, and it's a political board. It's people put in by Obama, Biden, and me.
I got to address, we got Bud Russell in the house, though, ladies and gentlemen. Bud Russell, part of the crew, which is the Mod Squad. All right.
And there are quite a few members still left, as you understand. And so they vote to raise interest rates. I don't know if they're doing it because they think they're doing a good thing or because they like the politics of it. But my point is, years ago, 25 years ago.
Red Hood, are you still not a mod? Because I made you one. Are you still not a mod? Is it still not showing up? Let's see here. This is interesting. I know well that I made you a mod. I'm not even kidding. Yeah, I see you as a mod there. Okay, there he is. I see you in red, you know. But, yeah, you are a mod. I'm about to say, I know I made you a mod. Okay, there you are. You are a mod. Okay, here we go. Just want to make sure, you know, but here we go.
When the country announced good numbers, interest rates went down because we had a stronger country. Now when we announce good numbers, the better they are, the worse it is for interest rates. So we could have a GDP of 10 times. You know, they say, oh, it's going to be 3 times or 4.1. We could have a GDP of 10, 12, 15 times if they just leave us alone. Let the rates go down. We should pay the lowest.
Yeah, I don't understand how we are the laughing stock of the world when everybody wants to play in our market. You know, how is we the laughing stock of the world when we're military strong again? How is we the laughing stock of the world where everybody got to pay tariffs if they want to play in the United States? How are we the laughing stock of the world? Remember, because the European nations did not help us when we needed them when going into Iran, right? They showed who they really are, right? So I don't see the world laughing at us. In fact, it should be us laughing at them, right? Because look at it. We're about to get I believe we're still in NATO right now. We're the largest contributor in NATO, right? These other nations don't pay the what is it, 2%, 3%? You think they paying it? Spain, England, you think these people, France, you think they've been paying their NATO dues? They don't pay at all. They said leave it up to the United States, right? And Trump did what he had to do. So no, we're not being laughed at. That's not true at all. You know what I'm saying? In fact, there's other people that said they wish they had a Trump. In the UK, they wish they had a Trump. In France, they wish they had a Trump, right? They got, Macron? They wish they had a Trump. Germany, they wish they had a Trump, right? A lot of these nations around the world wish they had a Trump. They wish they had a Trump, man. And they wish they were Americans, right?
Interest rates. You know, every point of interest is $600 billion. Think of that. Every point of interest is $600 billion. 2 points means we make a fortune. But we keep driving it up. It's a very unfair system, and I've said it now for a long time. When our country does well, interest rates should go down. I mean, every time I hear our country's doing well, I say, oh, it's too bad, because they've left.
Yeah, I'm going to address Ken, too. Yeah, I heard that they pulled American alcohol. They've been did that off the shelves, but guess what? We're not hurting, though. There's alcohol that's being sold. We're not hurting. Got to keep in mind, we have the largest market that the world wants to play in. We are a major player, right? We're not like a small country that can be easily bullied and pushed around and all the rest of the stuff. People have to pay in order to play in America. And when it comes down to the tariffs, you know, and that's exactly what it is. That's what gives us, right, leverage and give us to be able to get these rogue people that decide that they don't want to deal with the United States. Well, we'll see, you know, because again, we just raised the tariffs up. And the tariffs is a bad word to not necessarily other nations, but the nations that are being controlled by the parasitical global elite class. That's what they don't like. They don't like tariffs, right? They hate the tariffs, but they rather keep the old system going, the illusional, right? When we talk about this, because this is the parasitical elite class, the Federal Reserve Bank, that we've all been fooled in thinking that this is the way that it goes, and it's not, right? We go and play some more.
Interest rates. They should drop interest rates because it means we have a strong country, and it's all based on credit, meaning good credit, and we have the best credit, and we'd pay off the debt very easily, very quickly. But if somebody's paying a half a point, we should be paying a half a point, not somebody else. Right now, I think it's Switzerland has the lowest. Again, and I don't want to single them out, but if you take our business away from Switzerland, they have problems. So why are they paying a half a point and we're paying much more than that? Does that make sense to anybody? I mean, it seems pretty simple to me, but it's a killer. You know, I almost like to hear bad numbers. I'm saying, I hope we have bad numbers today. Interest rates, we're going to. It doesn't make sense. When our business is good, we should lower interest rates. And then you want to build America, you're going to see a building like you've never seen. We're doing great, even despite the fact of what's happening with interest rates.
Should Americans be concerned about this volatility in the bond market?
No, I don't think so, because like I said, our country is doing so well despite interest rates. We have interest rates that are artificial. They're actually artificially high. They raise them for no reason. And you can't go out to the market when you have a Fed that's raising interest. You can't say, oh, I want to pay 3 points less than what the Fed says you're supposed to be paying. So, no, I don't think so at all. I think we have a very powerful country, and we're powering through these ridiculous interest rates. They're ridiculous. Look, when our country is strong, interest rates should go down. When our country is weak, frankly, they should go up. But this country is strong. There's never been in history the kind of money coming into a country as we have right now.
Trump raised a very, very strong point, because all this money that's coming into America, there's no reason in the world that we should be at 3.1 or 3 point something percent interest. We should not be. We shouldn't be here. You know, if I were to pull up the price of the barrel of you know what I'm saying, the barrel of oil and so forth, and a lot of other things, it just doesn't add up. That's how we know that something is being manipulated, because they want Trump to fail. But he's not going to fail, because he has the ear and the heart of the people, ladies and gentlemen, right? And people seeing that businesses are coming in here, policies are working, stopping the endless immigration in the border and stuff like that. Deportation is up massive now, right? Getting people out of our country, right? Cleaning up the voter rolls. We gave him a mandate when we voted for Trump. These were the things that made Trump very successful and popular regarding him winning, right? He's been winning once again, you know, cleaning up those voter rolls, right? And they're going to be in trouble, though, too, you know. They already are in trouble. I heard that they're trying to burn a lot of the evidence right now and things like that. We got them red-handed, and they know it. The Dems never thought that they would be in this situation right now. We're going to go ahead and get into it. But before I do, let me go ahead and finish up with Trump here, and then we're going to talk about it.
Trillions and trillions of dollars are being invested in plants, factories, everything. Everything you can think of. We're the hottest country in the world. We are by far, and I said it 100 times, the king of Saudi Arabia, but many people, they said 2 years ago, 3 years ago, your country was dead. Now you have the hottest country in the world. That's what we have. We have the hottest country in the world, and these people are helping us a lot. Thank you very much, everybody. Come on to the Oval Office. We're going to take them into the Oval Office. We're going to show them a real office, okay? Their offices are nice, but this is nice.
Did you watch Darlene Graham's debate, Mr. President?
All right, guys, so that's basically it there. You heard our Commander-in-Chief, the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, and things. You know, President Trump delivers remarks with technology leaders, boy. And like I said, this is stuff that has not been done by any other president that's been bringing it harder than Trump, you know, with these companies and tech giants and so forth, and semiconductor, a lot of things coming onshoring in America, not offshoring, but onshoring, ladies and gentlemen. And the best is yet to come. So let's go ahead and look at it and things like that. Let me go ahead on and, all right, now that we had that, this is coming straight from the White House. That's what I deal with. I love dealing with this information coming straight from the White House, man. You getting it from the source itself, right? They can't get no better than that. Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead and do this here. So let me go ahead. Where's my backdrop here, you know? All right, hold on for one moment. I always like to show off my new backdrops and stuff. Let me go ahead and pull this up. There we go. You guys like this one too? Some random guy. Look at that, boy. Got that microphone. Old school microphone. Ain't that nice? Boy, I tell you guys, man. Isn't that nice? Yep. All right, so there it is. Yep. All right, we're going to move that down just a tad bit, right? You can reach out to me. There's my email address right there as well, too. You're moving up in the world, aren't I? Oh, man. And I appreciate a lot of you guys being on the chat and stuff like this. It's live stream. So while I do that, let me go ahead on and we're going to get into it, though, for what is promised. You know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and do that here and move that down there. So therefore, it's not as distracting. All right, there we go. And right here. You know what I'm saying? So whether you agree with Trump and his policies or not, but they are tangible. We can really see things that are moving in lightning speed. I think he's gotten a lot of his people certified finally as well too, you know. Anna Paula Luma, You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people, man, Florida is kicking butt over there. Brian Donaldson. Oh, my goodness, boy. Shout out to Brian Donaldson, man. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, Florida is so red, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it's like crimson red. You talking about a wave, the crimson tsunami that hit Florida, man. Woo, man, it's a beautiful thing, isn't it? Boy, I tell you, man. So we're going to go ahead and get into it, though. So we're going to be talking about the list. We're talking about the poorly run blue cities in America, ladies and gentlemen. So major U.S. cities with Democratic mayors, right? We're going to be talking about this stuff. This is what is going on. But before we do, let me see here. I think I got everything. Ready? I get the water later. Yeah, I get that water later, though, too. So let me see here. Where is my notes? Okay. All right. So here it is. So tonight we're going to be talking about a lot of people, right, feel, but the media doesn't want to put in on the charts, right? So why are many of Americans' biggest cities, almost all ran by Democrats, for years keep ranking near the bottom, right? And the things that actually matter, right? We talk about crime, homelessness, budgets, service, and people leaving. This isn't a party label for sake, right? It's about results, right? Here it is. And we're going to get into it right here, Had to show the Trump stuff first. Most of the largest cities in America have Democratic mayors, roughly 2/3 of the top 100, right? That's not an opinion. That's just the map itself, right? So we are looking at cities that are struggling the hardest with violence, street homelessness. We're talking about debt, and we talk about people packing up and leaving, right? We're mostly looking at the cities that have been under one party, which is the Democratic leadership, for a very long time. Let's use the same measuring stick for all of them, right? We're talking about violent crimes and homicide rates. We're talking about unsheltered homelessness, which is a big problem. We're talking about budget deficits and unfunded pensions, right? Efficiencies, right? What you get for the tax dollars, population loss, and stagnation, right? These are the things, right? These are the metrics, not vibes, not slogans, right? So the second segment starts with the one that keeps showing up near at the bottom of the ranks. We're talking about San Francisco, right? Often ranked as the worst ran major city in the country, right? On efficiency studies, massive spending on homelessness, yet the street crisis remain highly visible. Chicago, right? Long Democratic control, serious budget and pension pressure. Violence, right? That still defines too many neighborhoods. What about Los Angeles, right? Huge homelessness budget, still one of the largest street populations in the nation. Structural, hold on for a minute, guys. Deficits, there we go. New York City, we're talking about at normal spending, right? High debt burden per resident and homelessness systems, right? That have grown dramatically. Detroit, Boston, Memphis, St. Louis, and Oakland. These cities regularly appear at or near the top of violent crime lists. Most have a Democratic mayor for decades, right? You argue about the root cause. You argue about poverty. You argue about culture, policing, drugs, but you can't argue with the pattern. The cities with the worst outcome on these objective measures are overwhelmingly Democrat-led and have been for a long time, right? Number 3 segment, right? Meantime, a lot of mid-sized and growing cities that rank better on safety, fiscal health, and population growth are run differently, or at least haven't followed the same progressive playbook. on crime, housing, and spending. Houston, right, for example, used a coordinated housing first approach and actually reduced its homeless numbers significantly while keep housing costs more manageable, right? The point isn't that every Republican city is perfect, but the point is that the model being used in many blue cities are not delivering the results residents were promised, plain and simple. We're talking about high tax, high spending, high crime, high homelessness, right? And the people voting with their feet. You know what that means? They just leave. They just pack their stuff up and leave, right? That's the thing. Segment number 4, right? So the question for you in the chat, do you live in any of these cities? Have you left one of these cities? Or are you watching from a place that still works, right? Drop a super chat and tell me what you think. I mean, that's only if you want to. You don't have to. But that's if you want to. Because the numbers are public. The rankings are public. The leadership is public. And the result keeps speaking for themselves, right? This is the truth, no filters. It is what it is, right? So if we can actually respond on this, I'm sure some of you guys are living in some of these impoverished cities and stuff like Detroit and Baltimore, right? I can tell you from Detroit's standpoint, you know, because everything that I actually read is actually true. When we talk about homelessness, we talk about crime and violence and stuff. We talk about drugs, right? We talk about these things that are in the leading cause in a lot of these blue leading Democratic cities that have mirrors. A lot of them even have black mirrors, right? And things. You would have figured that, okay, they said, well, it's racism, right? So when they get a mirror in there and they say it's not racism, it's always something else, right? Instead of what they think. Oh, see what I'm saying? They always change the goalposts instead of just dealing with at hand what seems to be the problem. Because a lot of black leaders, and some are in the mayor leadership. I mean, what's going on? Why is the crime still why is there still a problem with homelessness, jobs, crime, and so forth? Why? That's the question, right? Because they haven't been, forthcoming with the truth. It's always changing the goalposts so they can get more funding. This is about what we call leadership, poor leadership, more money, right? And they said we need more police on the street. We need more police on the street, you know? What else they keep saying? We need more jobs and jobs and jobs. What happened every time you're getting money? You've been funded. A lot of these cities have got up to billions of dollars. But what do they do with the money? It doesn't go down. It doesn't trickle down to the people. It's definitely going somewhere, right? And that's why we are in the situation that we're in now. We're talking about generational, right? Poverty that they created on the left, right? When you look at some of the poorest cities, or neighborhoods, in this particular city, and a lot of them are black so-called communities. Remember we said, who created the ghettos? The ghettos were created by the Democratic Party so they can keep their control on the black vote. It's plain and simple. It's pretty obvious that has happened, right? It's pretty obvious. And then we saw when Trump had the National Guards come into D.C., Memphis, crime went down. I mean, I looked at what they said that we have been the lowest since 1930-something. The crime is going further down. Lesser homicides that's been reported before, still homicides, but there's less of them now. And other type of malicious crimes that are going on. It's going down, ladies and gentlemen. Things are turning around and getting better. We have never seen under any other president, normally the crime went up. It did with Obama. It didn't go down, it went up with Obama and all the rest of them, right? With Trump, it's going down, right? So some of the worst cities ran, ladies and gentlemen. It's terrible. So let's go ahead and go into a little further, right? Oh, you guys all right? Yep. Okay. So here we go. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about it here. Let me see here. Just give me one moment. Trying to find my other notes for my notes and stuff like that. So okay, that's not it. That's not it either. Okay, we talked about that. Okay, I think this is it. Okay, so we were to do a side-by-side comparison between the blue red cities versus the red, right? Here it is. So according to the metrics that I'm looking at, this is from WalletHub, 2025, 2026. Overall efficiency, right? San Francisco repeatedly ranked the worst. Detroit is number 2. New York is number 3. Oakland is number 4. Chicago is number 5, right? Look at this. Frequently in the bottom 10 to 15 out of 148 cities. That's high spending, weaker results on services. So typical pattern in the Republican conservative led or better run cities. Here it is. The top of the list dominated by Provo, Utah, Napa, which is Idaho, Boise, Idaho, Virginia Beach, Oklahoma City, Jacksonville, Mesa, Arizona. I used to live in Mesa. Fort Wayne, Indiana, right? Lower debt per capita plus better service to budget ratio. There it is. What about this one? Homicide and violent crimes. The highest rate still concentrated in the long Democratic cities such as St. Louis, Memphis, Baltimore, Detroit, New Orleans, Chicago. High, absolute numbers. Many of the worst rates are Democratic mayors, even when the state is red. Boy, I tell you. But look at it here. Larger Republican-led or more conservative cities generally post lower rates. Mid-sized Sun Belts, the Sun Belt cities, and Midwest cities that rank well on efficiency also tend to rank better on safety. Isn't that something? And newsflash, once again, be reminded, there are people that are leaving like New York. A lot of them are moving to Florida. They're moving to a lot of these other red states, what we call the Sun Belt states, for a better life. They're sick of it. They are tired and dealing with the lies coming from the left. Then you got this DSA thing that they keep championing about. So not only, see, we can tell right now, there was a comment that was made talking about DSA is winning. Now, newsflash for you. They made their party even worse. Nobody don't want to be a part of it. This is why another reason why, in my personal opinion, why they're bankrupt. They can't even raise the money, right? They had to put up a structure in order to be able to put some of that money up just for it to be able to handle this midterms. What about homelessness, right? Los Angeles, San Francisco, Seattle, Portland show higher totals and especially high unsheltered neighbor numbers. New York City has a high shelter count. Big spending has not produced proportional reductions in the street of homelessness, right? Houston stands out, one of the lowest when it comes down to homelessness. And this is Houston. Rates among major metros, right? Around 5 per 1,000 in the recent analysis. After a coordinated housing first outreach model, several other lower tax, higher growth Sunbelt cities also post lower rates. So, right, according to what I'm reading, the matrix for the left versus the right doesn't add up. If they try to come in here in the room and say otherwise, it's simply not true. Because people, they even got it on the reports that people are leaving these blue states. And they have been some of the poorest ran. Detroit is one of the worst ran. They have a black woman mayor. What is the black woman mayor that's a Democrat going to do any differently than the rest of them? You had one that was embezzling money, Kwame Kilpatrick and all the rest of this stuff. I mean, what is she going to do that all of them already tried to do? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Boy, what about the fiscal health? Higher long-term debt and unfunded pensions, liabilities per capita in many blue cities. Structural budget pressure is common. According to top wallet or Top Hub, I'm sorry, according to Top WalletHub, cities often show dramatically lower outstanding debt per capita, like Oklahoma City, Virginia Beach, and some similar places score better on physical or financial stability, right? We already know it's not the big major cities, that's for sure, when it comes down to financial literacy, not at all. And it's been designed this way, like I always say. In order for you to be able to have a voter block, they have been miseducated with information, depending on big government, socialist type stuff that they've been used to. Give them more trinkets and trash, right? Give them a false sense of security when it come down to these government subsidized programs and stuff. So therefore, they can stay on it for the rest of their life, right? Not wanting a whole lot. And a lot of them are just being, conditioned to be lazy. They don't want to go out here and get a job. We got job. People are hiring left and right now. Do you think that they want to hire in these blue states, though, man? A lot of them just have given up. I'm talking about emotionally, right? Let alone physically, man. Oh, my goodness. Population trends. Several blue cities saw slower growth and renewed declines in 2024, 2025. After the post-pandemic immigration surge cooled, NYC and LA flipped or slowed sharply. Boy, I tell you, stronger recent gains, this is coming from the right, stronger recent gains on many mid-sized and Sunbelt cities. We got Fort Worth, San Antonio, Houston, Charlotte, and Texas. Suburbs, right, repeatedly appear near at the top of the numeric growth list. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. So how to stay in the stream? Here it is, though. We're going to look at it here right now. So we're going to talk about it. Look at the same scorecard. When we talk about crime, street homelessness, debt, efficiency of services, and then whether people are moving on or moving out, right? It's one of the two. The cities that keep landing near at the bottom, like for those that are ranking almost all places, right, to have a Democratic mayor, right, and the progressive policies for a long time, which is San Francisco, Detroit, New York, Chicago, Oakland, Los Angeles, Baltimore, St. Louis, and Memphis. Meantime, the cities that rank near the top of efficiency and fiscal health is Provo, Boise, Virginia Beach, Oklahoma City, which I've been there, Jacksonville, Mesa, and the ones actually cutting the homeless rates are like Houston. Houston is cutting their homeless rates. And these are red cities in a red state. Are generally running a different playbook. Tighter budgets, that's the key word right there. A tighter budget, right? Because they know, right? Well, how is it that the blue states, they're always mismanaging funds? They're always over budget, right? The lies that they try to tell about this happened and that happened, it's not even realistic. We know that they have been stealing the money, cooking the books on the crime, the DOJ, FBI. They're pushing narrative, pushing racism, while they've been mismanaging, manufacturing this racism stuff. All this stuff has been going on. And now that people are already hip to it, that's why we be calling it out. So every time they come in this room talking about racism, just say that it's manufactured. That's all you need to know. We got a big, one of these big institutions that they created, right? Which was the Southern Poverty Law Center. One lady is going to prison for this type of stuff. Many more, too, as they should. They have been financing the Ku Klux Klan and a few of these other hate groups. They've been telling lies even told lies on Charlie. That's why he's not here no more. Sad to say. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. They put a target on people's back and pushing this fictitious racism stuff. It's manufactured. They have to manufacture it from the left, because this is how they get their funding. This is how they stay in control. This is how they stay in what they call leadership or black leadership, right? They can convince many blacks and uneducated whites to boot to say that, oh, yeah, this stuff, oh, this real racism really happening when they've been manufacturing it the whole time, which is sad. So let's go ahead and go further on, though, right? All right, so let's see here. Okay, the tighter budgets relate to results, clearer public, right? Public safety priorities, and less tolerance for open, disorder. Is every red state perfect? I said no. But it doesn't, or it does have poverty and history matters, yes. But when the same cities keep showing up at the bottom of the objective rankings year after year under the same long-term leadership, the results stop being, it's just stopped happening. Look at it. We talk about Houston. Houston lowered their homelessness. You would figure that these blue states, something would happen. Why is it increasing? It should be decreasing, especially when you've been given funding. It's supposed to get better, not worse. But what do? It get worse, and they always have an excuse for it. We know that they're taking the money. The money never go to the poor. A fraction, when they go ahead and pocket all the money. This is one of the reasons why, in my opinion, when you see all these congressmen, you see all these senators, a lot of them are millionaires. We kind of wonder why. They don't run no business. How is it that they become millionaires and so forth, right? So, all right. So quick caveat. Here it is. Keep credibility. Most of these very large cities in the United States are Democrat-led. Facts. So the comparison pool is uneven. The blue cities and red states, right? Memphis, St. Louis, etc., often drive the worst homicide rates, right? We're talking about the academic studies. Sometimes finding a mirror party alone has limited short-term effect once you control for demographics. The longer policy trajectories still show up in the ranking, right? Boy, I tell you. So this is basically what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Boy, this is basically what it is. Crime and homelessness, debt. How efficiently the city spend your money. They always blow the budget. They always overspend because it's not their money. These elaborate parties and gifts and whatever else that they're getting is not going to the city. That's why we say some of these big cities, and you look at their districts, you look at the cities though, it's in poverty, ghettos, right? I'm talking about the worst of them, right? If you look in the suburbs, you look in the city, it's like night and day, right? Boy, I tell you, man. So this is basically what it is, though. I mean, this is obvious. And then what's really makes me really humorous about it, where I crack up, is that you have the Dems that are still defending this. They say it's simply not true. They say I run the city very, very well. Well, if that's the case, if you look at the metrics and you look at the crime statistics, you still got high crime and homelessness. Let's start with that, right? Let's deal with what you have. Health issues going on, financial literacy, right? Unemployment, right? Look at the things that's going on. And then you want to sit up here and try to say a red state is worse than a blue state? Yeah, I know you're joking. It don't make any sense, though. Why should I get all upset about when we know what the facts are, right? It doesn't make any sense. You always over budget. You blow the budget. You don't create jobs in the city. You create problems purposely so you can keep your position. We understand how it go. This is what it means. This is the playbook of the Democrat Party. And you look at some of these, excuse my French, these SHIT holes in the city are some of the worst. Shit, I've seen some place, let alone almost mirroring in the third world. Right? Boy, talk about underserved and disenfranchisement. You like Detroit. Detroit is disenfranchisement. The Arabs that came over here, that's like I showed you the houses and stuff like that. They have like luxury homes, building these luxury homes in the city of Dearborn and Dearborn Heights. How are they getting all this money? How is they have the leg up? How is that? I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's the thing about it. These are the questions, ladies and gentlemen. Boy, I tell you, man. So here it is, though, as we're looking at it. So what's the same old scorecard? We talk about crime, homelessness, debt, efficiency, right? Population, right? The blue city patterns, the long Democratic leadership. It's in, once again, for those that are just coming in, San Francisco, repeatedly the worst. I mean, look at Oakland. Look at Detroit and NYC and Chicago. Bottom tier. The highest homicide rate still concentrated here, right? High unsheltered homelessness, which is Los Angeles and San Francisco and Seattle. Heavy debt and pension pressure, right? That's another one. What about this, man? Right? If you look at the conservative pattern, it's like night and day. The red states blow them out, and the red cities in the red states. The top efficiency is Provo, Utah, Boise, Idaho, Virginia Beach, OKC for Oklahoma City, Jacksonville, right? Mesa, Arizona, right? Houston, lowest homeless rates amongst major metros. So let's look at that right here. You always say how conservatives are racist and blah, blah. How is it that they are, you guys in the blue cities, you guys are out leading, right, the conservatives by far when it come down to homelessness alone, and don't even bring up the crime rate. You've been played a very bad trick, and I said I was going to cover this and give a little bit more information, a little more meat on those potatoes, you know? Boy, I tell you, look at this here. What about, so we talked about that, the top efficiency, cities, very efficient. They're not having no budget issues. They're not going over budget. More businesses are being created over there. They got great educational systems, right? Everything is working as it should be elsewhere. In the blue cities, we know they're not. It's not. Overpacking schools and violence. What about Houston? Houston is the lowest homelessness rate amongst major metros. True. We got stronger recent population gains. Fort Worth, San Francisco, Charlotte, right? These are red cities that are outperforming the blue cities big time. Lower debt per capita, plus the better service to the budget ratio, right? Look at this. There with a budget, they have people that are in finance, right? That can budget and keep a city afloat, doing the right thing, right? Making sure that funds are allocated for what it was designed to do. The Dems don't have that. That's why they don't even want you to look at the voter rolls alone, because you got a bunch of illegals on there. Everybody know, right? How is it that the Dems are winning anything? And then they got an infighting amongst their party, civil war going on. You know what I'm saying? You got Hakeem, not the Dream Jeffries, right? You got Schmuck Schumer and all the rest of them that's established Democrats that are fighting the DSA. Man, boy. And right now it looks like the DSA is whooping they behind, getting them out of office, man. You know what I'm saying? So the numbers are public. The leadership is public, right? Boy, I tell you, man, isn't this something though, ladies and gentlemen? This is like really, really sad that people that rah-rah on the left, because, you know, some of them live in the suburbs, so they don't really, it's not impacting them. You know, you got, like I said, we talking about the worst cities that are Democrat. And none of them, no, you mean to tell me that no Democrats know this type of stuff about these worst cities? You don't, I mean, they ghettos, you know yourself, you ain't going to drive through them. You got to get on the freeway. You're not going to drive through the neighborhoods like that. It's unsafe, especially at night. You think that they would care enough about their voter block to elevate these people in these ghettos, but they don't care. They want to keep them impoverished, keep them ignorant, right? Keep them lacking the knowledge from the truth and make them a permanent underclass victim is what they have done in a lot of these ghettos. Worst ran ever. And then they want to sit up here and act like we have the problem. When the problem, looking at the matrix, the numbers are not lying. You guys can't budget your way out of a wet paper bag, sadly but true. You think we want to keep dealing with this? How many decades have we been dealing with this stuff, right? Because we know it started in the black community right after 1965, the Great Society, Lyndon B. Johnson. That's when we really start seeing a decline in the black community. Because before that, there was no ghettos. Blacks, your grandparents, your great-grandparents, they lived in these cities with beautiful homes and houses. They didn't have no ghettos, right? Like this, like what we have today. You had more home ownership back then, even for blacks, than what they have today. Blacks in Detroit and a lot of these other cities, I'm going to let you guys know, they never owned a home in their life. They're just pretty much landlocked. You know, everybody, where they go is where it's majority renters. Most people rent. They don't own, especially in the black community. They don't own. Poor whites and others, they don't own, they rent, right? That's the thing. In order for to change this around, this is why we voted for Trump. This is why, because Trump had a vision for America. Obama and the rest of them didn't. That's the reason why that you're seeing things that are unprecedented before, that you've never seen before. This guy here, Trump, have actually changed the whole world's ruling class around and put America first. No other president in America have ever done this before. You know? So while you sitting up here constantly criticizing Trump policies, I mean, it's pretty obvious. This is why 77 million people voted for Trump back in 2024 when he was running against Kamala Harris. Everybody know it, right? And they had to fudge the numbers because Kamala was losing so bad. Y'all remember that? She did not have a policy. The DSA have a policy, all right, is to take over America. And once again, it's not American is what they're doing. It's what they're doing in pushing policy is anti-American. And this is why they will not win in the midterms. Everybody know it. Because people are offended when you want to confiscate private businesses and so forth. You want to go after the private and so forth, man. And we're not going to allow that. No. You can kind of fool away from it, but we know that's what your plan is. You want mass immigration in America as well, right? You're going to have crime. We looked at how you ran these inner cities that I named, because some of them are sanctuary cities. You gave sanctuary to illegal criminals. People will never forget that. Y'all remember? You know, gave ICE they anti-ICE, and they still are anti-ICE. They hate ICE. And you know if they were in power, they're going to get rid of ICE. They're going to get rid of the military. They're going to get rid of ICE. They're going to defund the police and all the rest of the stuff to go right along with it. Everybody know, right? You think it's bad in these big cities that I named? It was going to be worse because this filth is going to start spreading out in other areas where red states never had this problem before, right? They were going to come for your guns. That's another thing, right? Get the guns off the street because that's still a threat to the deep state establishment. Got to get the guns off. That's one of the major reasons why we still got a country right now, because of those guns, right? We outrank when it comes down to guns, better and bigger than any country in the world. We are like this when it comes down to gun ownership in the hands of private citizens. We own this many guns, right? Versus what the world owns. You know what I'm saying? Let you know how God works, right? The gun is the great equalizer, right? It assures things that you ain't going to come in and take blah, 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 you know. It ain't going to happen. But look at England and them. Look at what they did. They steamrolled them. Look at Australia. They gave up their guns and they steamrolled them. Their government steamrolled them. If you don't like history, you better check out how was the UK conquered. Because once they got rid of the guns and all the rest of the stuff, then they started bringing in illegals. And look what's been happening. A lot of these Muslim states that we got a ban on, if it wasn't for Trump banning the 7 Muslim states, countries, that have a strong hotbed of terrorism, and we cannot allow them in America. We will not allow them in America. We're going to do like what Poland did. Poland locked down their borders. Poland is not having the issues that Spain is having, UK is having, right? France and Germany is to follow because they have a sock puppet globalist that controls their countries, right? Sad but true. Right? So, hey, they're already falling, man, but sucks to be them. It's good to be an American, right, man? Boy, I tell y'all. Ain't that a beautiful thing? Beautiful thing, ladies and gentlemen. So that's the difference between poor SHIT cities, right, versus red conservative states and cities, right? They just better ran, better managed. You know, everything works. Response, first responders, everything working on time. No overcrowding, this and that. They created, I think that, like I said, they created all this stuff on a reason and purpose so they can keep getting funding. That never goes to the people. That's what many other blacks don't really realize that live in these big cities. It's a generational poverty. And instead of going, it's a race to the bottom, ladies and gentlemen. Especially at the helm of a DSA, it's really going to be a race to the bottom. It's ain't a race to the top. It's a race to the bottom. And the only thing they can kind of stay out of their mouth is racism. It's all racism, which is manufactured. We already see what's going on now, right? It's just that these people been bought a what? They just been sold a lie, and they're going to hold on to it. That's what these DSA and progressives do, right? They take the people that they think that are victims, instead of arming them with the truth and teaching them how to be self-sufficient, they teach them how to be dependent on a system that never gave a you-know-what about them. I don't know who the true racist is. In fact, I do. The true racist is the Dems. Because of how they did the blacks and how they did the poor whites, they are the true racists. That's the true racist, man, ladies and gentlemen. It's coming from the left. And everybody see it, right? They are the true racists. So all this Islamophobe and xenophobe stuff, any of this phobia or schismism doesn't exist. You should have learned that from Jesse Lee Peterson. He was right. It's all manufactured. It's all been made to think that this is the reason why people can't get ahead. It's not the truth at all. Because you've been walking around here thinking that you are a victim. There's jobs right now that many of them can do. You think they out there want a job? They'd rather thug on the street than get a job, right? That's it doesn't make any sense. The narratives are against them, you know? When we got real world stuff, you go right now. Everybody hiring right now. We have an explosive mass hiring thing. There's jobs that people can do, depending on your skill sets, right? So don't sit up here and say that, oh, I can't get a job and all this and stuff because you refuse to get a job. No one said it was going to be easy. The hardest thing is starting. That's the hardest, is starting. Once you start, you get in the momentum, you go from there. You want to be like your no-good friends hanging out on the street, or do you want to progress? Do you want to get better? Right? You see what I'm saying? To get yourself out that situation. So therefore, if you have a family, now it's going to be a little tougher if you got a family versus by yourself, right? That's why I always say, get yourself together first instead of getting up in the face of these women. Get yourself together first. You be the example. And then surely you'll see people will be more, you'll be a little bit more believable. People want to be around you because you're going to be at peace, right? And that's exactly what it is. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you guys for being a part of Some Random Guy Speaks. Once again, I am your host, Tony Love. I think we did pretty good on this, though, too, and stuff. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, though, I'm going to look in the comments before I go and things. I think we tore it up because, once again, though, there's no comparison with a blue state and a red state. There's just no comparison, man. Right? Yes, sir. And I appreciate my mod squad on here. Let me give a little shout out. I got to update my mod squad list, though, too, because I got some other people, though, and things. Let me see. Let me go and get a shout out to them.
I would like to give a shout out to the mod squad, starting with Black Guy 9, Jason Beatrice, that is a member, Brian Reedy, that is a member, Coconuts R's Real, that is a member, Stewart 2004, Texas Jane with her 6 shooters, that is a member, Man USA 1, that is a member, Domish 3332, Denise Farmer, Cheryl Schultz, Dana, Slicknick 68, Not Your Mama But Your Mama, that is a member, Omega, Howard, Special, thanks to Tanya Zimmer, and Paulie's.
Yeah, you're all good, though, Angela, child of God. You okay. Get that dinner and stuff. And I wanted to mention, too, the cities that are the worst ran. These are where we have a lot of these illegals, right? Like I said, sanctuary cities and stuff like that. The worst ran, man. Terrible, terrible, terrible. That's what I'm saying. They don't have a defense to this type of foolishness that's coming from the left. And this is why people are leaving the blue states and moving to the red states, right? If New York did not lose a population, there's no way in the world that they will be, Mondami would not have a chance like he has now. He didn't really have no competition. He's walking here champion and feeling good about himself. But let's be real. We know that Mondami would never, even with a swing state, because just like look at Abdul El Sayed, he's having problems against Mike Rogers, right? Mike Rogers having what, about 52 points to his 47 points. And we already know that he's not going to be able to get by there, you know. Not at all, man. But yeah, Red Hood said, ready or not, here I come. You can't hide. I'm going to find you. And yeah, I know that's right. What is this, the Fugees? Well, I like what's the name that sung it too? What's her name? I know what you're talking about, Red Hood, you know what I'm saying? You know, I know who she is, though. I know the song very well. I liked the Fugees too, man. The Fugees was pretty good. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, thanks everyone. Thank you, Tony. You welcome, though, Red Hood. I've been meaning to make you a mod for a long time, man, and stuff like that. So I seen you get down over there in, you know what I'm saying, Deontay's room and stuff like that. Shout out to Deontay, man. Grant Rose. And I be working at nights. I don't even have a lot of time to be on his show very much, but I still, if I go in there and like and may say a few things, though, sometimes, you know. But yeah, man, I wish him well, success, and stuff like that, and a lot of you as well, too, you know. Yeah. Let me see here. Just kind of looking at some of the comments here before I go. But yeah, it's been really cool, though, you know. So as the channel grows and the likes that you have given me and stuff like that, share this information, though, you know. You ain't got to be the greatest debater, but right here, just putting out facts, reading the facts of how these blue ran cities and what they've been doing to keep people in a permanent underclass for the rest of their life. This is not racism. If it was racism, I'll say this. I guess it is racism, but guess who's manufacturing it? It's coming from who? The Democrat Party, the left. That's who got you down. That's who got you a victim. That's who got you being dependent on something instead of being independent. So yeah, it's coming from your party, not from the conservatives. It's coming from your own party, right? And as long as you out there gang banging, thugging, you think they care, they make money off you when you go into prison. Do you realize that the prison systems, and some of them, most of them are privately owned now, right? And there's investments that people are investing in these privately owned prison systems, right? So who's making out? A lot of these politicians and people with the money, they vote on your self-destruction, right? Straight like that. Huh? You know what I mean? Keeping it real. Mm-hmm. Yeah, coconuts aren't real. Yeah, he's a mod. Yeah, I know he's a mod over there. Coconuts are real. I've seen Red Hood get down as a mod over there, but you're absolutely right. He is a mod over there, you know? Mm-hmm. So this is why they don't have an answer for the failing blue states. Or I'm sorry, the failing blue cities. They are poorly ran. Some of the worst that I have ever seen, man. And I came out of one of those blue cities, which is Detroit, right? That's why I say the answer to their racist questions that they want to say is coming from their own party, straight facts. And I would challenge any of these people on the left. I don't really have to do it because I just kind of read what it is. Ain't nobody trying to object to this type of stuff, right? Never said I was a liar. Trump didn't create this. The blue party establishment, which is these what we call progressives, they started it. See, like I say, they always been here, right? Right? The DSA have always been here, and they showed up in the black community first. Boy, it's really bad in those areas, man. Yeah, you say Canada sucks. Yeah, all they had to do is get on board with the Trump program, because how can you battle when you don't even have they don't even have the population, they don't have the tech, they don't have the manufacturing. If it wasn't for us sending automotive over there in the first place, they'd have been done a long time ago. Canada don't produce their own cars. You know what I'm saying? When have we seen a Canadian car, right? Without the U.S. tag on it, there'll be nothing, right? And I love Canadian people, man. They're cool. Oh, yeah, we got Goldpindar. Hey, Goldpindar. Yeah, there's Goldpindar. Let me put Goldpindar back up there. That's, now Goldpindar is out of, yeah, guys, well, let me get it. There you go. Goldpindar. Yeah. He's absolutely right, too, you know. U.S. and North Korea do have an agreement. Yeah, with Kim Jong-un and stuff like that. But look at that. Look at Goldpindar. He's just happy. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, this is one of my return viewers right over here. Goldpindar, you know, he liked my content, you know, and stuff like that, man. I want to wave and give a thumbs up to Goldpindar, you know. He come all the way from Pakistan. He lives in Pakistan. And ladies, he said that he's single, you know. He is a, cellular phone, level 3 cellular phone technician. So that means he has a good job, you know. And things like that. So look at him. Look at Goldpindar. Got his glasses on. Look at that smile, boy. Look at Goldpindar, man. We're going to post it again, ladies and gentlemen. That's Goldpindar, you know. He loved the United States. He wants to be American so bad. Because, you know, if Goldpindar was in America, he would cherish it. He would love to be over here. Just ask am I telling the truth, Goldpindar? You know what I'm saying? He said, yeah, he would love it. Opportunity, opportunity, opportunity. You know what I'm saying? And then, yeah, there's a lot of other people from Pakistan over here, you know. He said America has been more united. Yeah, well, we have been more united, though, man. You know, we ain't no racist over here. You know what I'm saying? He'll get his right pathway to citizenship and become a citizen. You know what I'm saying? Goldpindar. Go, Goldpindar. Yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? We're going to post him again. And ladies, you know, he's single. He has a job in tech, you know. Yeah, who don't India and Pakistan don't have a tech job? You're either a doctor, engineer, or a tech. It's something with that, you know, which is a pretty good resume. You know, people from Bangladesh, people from India and Pakistan, you know. Look at him, man. You know what I'm saying? I like that. I like that photo, man. That's what I do. That's what I say, boy. When I first saw Goldpindar, when I first saw him, ladies and gentlemen, his photo just stood out. You know what I'm saying? At first, he came in. He didn't like Trump at first, but he kept hearing me and talking about the wonderful things that Trump did in America that turned his viewpoint around. But even when he didn't, he always, right, showed me respect. I showed him respect and stuff like that. And that's what it's all about, you know. We don't have to be enemies of each other, you know, because once again, we all are human. There's no other race more important than the human race, man, right? Go ahead, go Pindar, man. I just love that photo, man. Yeah, don't be shy, ladies, though. That's Gold Pindar, you know. Yep, there he is. Yeah, I've always give him a plug and stuff, though, because he's single, you know. Yep. And I agree with him. Yep. That's the thing, though, boy. Ain't that something? But, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you guys have been great. We have to go ahead and sign off. Got to get to work. I got to get to work, yeah. But, yeah, it's been good. We went over 100 likes. Man, we killed it yesterday, didn't we? Boy, we had a lot of people that showed up, man. Oh, man, and things, though, man. Crazy how everyone, hold on, I'm saying. Said, damn, Damien says, crazy how everyone can say America is bad and sucks when it just, okay, wait a moment, let me see here. How bad when it sucks. Well, we just had a World Cup. And that's a great point, though, Damien. We had a World Cup, man. And everyone who wasn't American posted videos about how great it was in America. And I used to bring this point up, but I appreciate you, though, for bringing that point up for me again, Damien. Damn, Damien, I appreciate it. That's a very, very, very good point. And I watched those videos, though, Damien. I watched them, man. And I was saying how cool it was. I would love to see Gold Pindar, when you ever come over here to the United States, for the first time to see the look on Gold Pindar's face, man. And that's how it was for the Europeans. They were so excited being here. They had AC. Because in Europe, man, that's like a luxury, man. But they were over here, went to Costco. We got abundance of stuff here, man. Big old Slurpee gulps and all this other stuff. Not that little stuff. You know what I'm saying? We got big stuff, big sandwiches. The food tastes good. It wasn't like European food where it's bland and not, not spicy, but bland and not seasoned, right? You know what I'm talking about, man, you know? Oh, my goodness. But they really enjoyed being over here. Some of them cried, and I felt bad for them. But, hey, you know how it goes, you know. You can come over to America, but you got to have the right pathway to citizenship, you know. But if you were able to do that, because a lot of them didn't want to leave, man. They did not want to leave. They said, oh, man, you know. They still going to they're going to remember this experience for the rest of their life, ladies and gentlemen. They really are, man. Shout out to the Europeans and everyone else, man, for that World Cup. Let me see here. What we have, Catherine appears to be, she looks like a liberal. Let me see here. She's saying, you're doing a great job repeating Trump's MAGA propaganda, but it doesn't sound like you are doing fact check. Trump speaks in super relative, but he avoids facts. Huh. So, Kathleen, okay. I just want to know what type of facts is Trump avoiding? I'm just curious before I go. I'm going to tackle one more question, though. So what facts? What facts? I'm just curious. When you say Trump is avoiding facts and he's putting out a bunch of propaganda and things like that, I just want to ask her this question. Could you be more specific? Oops. There, fly. I got to get that fly, man. I hate flies, man. I don't usually have them often, but this one here, I'm going to get you, you know. But I just want to know from Kathleen. I really would like to know, you know, because you were saying about this. I do a very good job in putting out propaganda and so forth. So I just want to know, you know. Let me see here. Somebody here says, what's this, cast loan? Do the facts that you are shilling in the morons, that this moron makes you utterly pathetic. But, I mean, I'm just saying, I don't know how long this guy has been over here. Wait, yeah, but like I see your photo over here. Is that it can't be your girlfriend though, man. That gotta be a friend of yours though, you know. Yeah. I'm gonna be cool though. All right, so here's the thing about it. You got some of these deranged people on the left. When we already talked about their failing blue cities, right? We already went over this already. So for him to sit up here and say that, hey, I'm not telling the truth, when you got crime and homelessness and violence and so forth, come on now. You can't budget. Look at it. You even had a Black Mirror in a lot of these cities, and it's still failing. Big fat F. And it's been failing for years, decades. Come on now. You can't ignore that. And he, what's he going to just push it right on Trump? They run from those questions, right? They run from those topics, and they go straight to Trump. Watch him. He's going to go straight to Trump like they always do. Don't run, right? Angela, child of God. God bless you, Angela, child of God. Hold on for a minute. Let me go ahead on. You know I got to love my money sound, though. I just like that little coin thing. Don't y'all, even as a kid, I always like that sound, you know? It's that one. She gave me $5, though. That's really nice. What did she say? She says, Tony, thank you for always preparing a gourmet MAGA meal. That's a very interesting way how you have said that, Angela, child of God. And I appreciate you. God bless you, too. And the more you give, the more you receive. You know what the good book always says, right? Boy, look at this. MAGA, USA forever, man. And this is exactly correct. Because of Trump, Christians are coming out. They're not feeling attacked as they were before. And this is another thing, because, you know, God has been blessing America, boy, ever since Trump got back in the office. And God bless you again, Angela, child of God. I really appreciate you, right? Pat says blue. Okay, vote blue for failure and disappointment. Yeah, because they have a failing rate, a record when it come down to poverty, crime, and homelessness. It's terrible, man. Dakota says no calling for the death of the president, Kiefer. Let me see it. Yeah, no calling for death of anybody, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? Let me see it. Bud Russell says, that lucky one, New York City has lost over $11 billion in taxable income, and Florida has gained over $22 billion in taxable income. And what we can draw that comparison, because we already know a lot of people from New York left, and a lot of them moved over there to Florida. Though Florida, even under Ron DeSantis, you know, Ron DeSantis ran as a governor of Florida. He could run circles around Montgomery. Facts. And most of your Democratic-led mayors on top of it. They're always over budget, always spending, always run out, always begging for more money, while they constantly keep investing in crime and pocketing the rest of the money. Don't that sound about right? That's exactly what's been going on. You know what I'm saying? That's why they can't defend this, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, yeah, we have here Red Gregory, man. Shout out to you. That's a young MAGA person right here. Young MAGA person. You have a lot more sense as a young MAGA person than a lot of these DMs on the left. They some old fools, you know? I tell you, man. Oh, my goodness, man. But, yeah. Let me see here. Pocket says, does Donald Trump know how bad his numbers are? His numbers are excellent, Pocket. Once again, CNN, if you getting it depends on where you're getting the news from, you know? You getting it from fake news sources like CNN. They're not here to report the real news. How can they win against DSA? It's turned a lot of Americans off. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You know we're going to take it in Michigan. Already there, I'm talking about the Dems, the DSA have already lost. Because look at it. You got to have Philadelphia. Pennsylvania. You got to have Michigan, right? You got to have, who else? There's another, Wisconsin. And those are the three biggest swing states that the Dems need. Dems don't have it. So what are you saying, Pocket? It's like, that's not true. Michigan being red, even though it's a swing state, go and pull it up. You think that Abdul El Sayed has a chance? You know what I'm saying? Mike Rogers, the senator, is going to win it, right? Rightfully so. So, yeah, not at all. So, yeah, you guys are in a worse, just like I said with the blue cities. People are moving out of these blue cities. They're not sticking around and staying around. There's no reason to. There's no reason to. Over budget, overspending, don't have the budget, always making an excuse, blaming it on Trump. People got tired of that stuff. They went to the red states. They did their research. You got a functioning system in these red cities and states. That's what people are looking for. The blue is through. Straight like that. The blue is through, right? I'm very confident that we can steamroll. We've been steamrolling the blue ever since they have been exposing themselves of what and who they really are, which is DSA, Democratic Socialist Communists. There's nothing American about it. Take the American off and just put up there Democrat Communists. In fact, we just call them communists. How about that? Boy, I tell you, man. But I got to get out of here, man. This is a beautiful thing, though. But I appreciate you guys for coming on and being on and stuff and keeping it clean, keeping it polite. Conversation. We can conversate, but it doesn't help when you come in here being irate, being disrespectful, because, you know, let alone I won't read it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's not no echo chamber, right? It's not like Santana Jones and Johnny and all the rest of them. You mention Trump, you out. It's just how it is. What's that other lady that be on here with the black hair looking like, she remind me of Sarah Silverman, right? I forgot her channel and stuff on there. She's always got the title, though. You know, what she always say? Tell me why you vote for Trump. Are you a Trump supporter? Something like that. She's always on there, man. You know, she remind me of Sarah Silverman. If some of you guys know who she is, though. You know, if you put on anything about Trump, they kick you out of the room. Straight facts. But yeah, but you guys have been great. You know, a lot of newcomers coming on board, you know. It's a beautiful thing, you know. Boy, I tell you, but yeah, it's a beautiful thing, though. We got Angela, Child of God again. I love saying it, too. I love saying it. Just rolls off my tongue, man. Yep, I love saying it, though, you know. She got Charlie Kirk over here with Jesus. Look at that photo. That's Jesus, you know. Boy, look at that. That's what I'm talking about. Bud Russell. It says California is losing the most population than any other state. Yeah, by droves, man. For starters, you can't afford to live in California. And if you stand in California, you're going to be paying way more for the cost of living and everything. And then there's homelessness. San Francisco, you know, the Tenderloin area. They have reached out in that area. Oh, my goodness. Oakland is the man. You going to go over there to Golden Gate Bridge and visit Oakland? I don't think so. Home of Too Short. Y'all remember that in Hammer. Y'all remember that? Hammer Time. Oh, man. And Too Short. Y'all remember? Yeah, who's from Oakland? Or who's from California? Y'all know Too Short. You know what I'm saying? Boy, born in Mac. Boy, I tell you. Too Short. You know what I'm saying? Man, remember Freaky Tales? These are the tales I tell so well. These are the tales that I tell so well. I met this. I gotta keep it clean. I can't say his lyrics because everything come out of Too Short's mouth is always gonna be a curse word or whatever. But big fan though, man. You know. Yeah, he's been around since like the late 70s, 80s, man. Used to drive that Cadillac. I think it was an Eldorado or DeVille, one of them. But yeah, that's how he was getting down. Born in Mac. In front of that Cadillac, man, you know, with the gold chains around, man. He was, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, Oakland, you know. Boy, I tell you, man. Anybody here from Oakland? Yep, but other than that, though, guys, man, let me see here. Pocket says, do Trump goobers, that's goober is supposed to be for country folk, understand that General Motors is laying off a large number of people this week? Well, hold on for a minute. Let me go and fact check that for you before I go. You know I love fact checking stuff, man. Hold on for a minute. I got you covered. You may hear some, you know, basically it's like some sound effects. That means it's doing this thing. So let's go in and check out and see what Pocket has to say on that before I go. Cross-referencing the spin, cutting through the propaganda. What else? Making corrections, verifying the facts, rewriting the narrative. Almost there. Analyzing content for bias. Here it is. this is what was left out of his statement. Let me read to you, and I'm going to post it as well, too, and then I'm going to go. GM has been restructuring for years, not right now, but years, with a plural, yes, years, right? With major layoffs occurring under Obama, right? Biden and Trump alike, right? So it ain't just Trump, it's many of them. The Post never mentioned that GM received billions in Biden-era EV subsidies and still job cuts anyway. GM announced in January 2025 that it would cut approximately 1,000 software service employees, a decision tied partly to reduce investment in its Cruise autonomous vehicle unit. There it is. And I'm going to post this up in here as well, too. I appreciate you participating, Pocket, but I'm going to respond to what you actually said because I had to fact check it to get all the facts. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen, for you to read for yourself, because knowledge is power. And when you understand this, now go cross-reference that with Chat GPT and all the rest of them, and just take a look at it. And I got something for that too, so go right ahead. I have actually put this to the test with other left-leaning. That's why you got to be careful, ladies and gentlemen, using a lot of these AI, because most of them are leftist bias, right, engines, right, to mask the truth. I love playing on Chat GPT when I use mine. I use my fact checker. And when it always says that, how do you verify that? We need more information. I just give them more information. So it's just fun for me, man. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, man, we are winning the war in America, right? We are winning the war with foolishness and ignorance. And the more people start to understand that they were played by the leftist commies that have played many of Americans with this fictitious manufactured racism and all the rest of this stuff, right? Boy, that's what I say. But I thank you all for being a part of Some Random Guy Speaks. I'm your host, Tony Love, and I appreciate for all that have subscribed and stuff, as well as the likes, though. You know, you guys all deserve a thumbs up. Whether you agree or disagree, right, which is totally welcome in this room, we just ask you to keep it classy, keep it professional, right? There's people in the room that have children, you know, because I got to mind my P's and Q's too, and I'm the host. That was some of the critiques that they were saying before. Y'all know I used to lose it, but it's all good though, man. And Liquor Store Dinosaur, he says, thanks, Tony. I appreciate you too, man. I never seen you before, but I appreciate you, man, for finding my chat. Thank you so much. I really do, man. I hope you come back, man. And for the rest of you too that never been here, you're still welcome. And the doors are always open. We have open dialogue here. It is not a echo chamber. I'm not going to kick you off because I get in my feelings and all the rest of this stuff, you know. We can agree to disagree, right? This is what adults do, right? I don't go wham because you don't like Trump. We just educate people and give them the facts, right? That's all we do. That's all we do. But I appreciate you, though, too, Liquor Store Dinosaur. That's an interesting name, too, man. Great profile, man. You're one of the few that show your actual face. You know what I'm saying? It's really cool, though, man. Mm-hmm. All right, guys. I have to go, man. You guys have been good. Gold Pendar, man, once again, man, I appreciate you. Where's that photo? I mean, I got to save Gold Pendar in there. Where he at? Here, hold on, man. Let me do a search here. Let me see here. I got to Gold Pendar. There he is. I got to put him up here again. There you go, Gold Pendar, man. Let me put a star. There you go. I like this guy, man. I like Gold Pendar, man. And he's all the way in Pakistan. Boy, Gold Pendar, if you ever come over here and become an American citizen, man, you're going to love it, man. Those Pakistan, Indian women going to be all on you, man, you know. Oh, my goodness. You're going to be making some American money, taking care of your family and stuff like that. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say it again for the ladies. He's single. He's a level 3 tech support that does cellular phone repair, man. Good for a gold pendar, you know. He love it when he said, man, you are so good in being a great wingman. And I am a great wingman too. I know how to wing. I've done it. I have experience, you know, out there doing that stuff, you know. Yeah, gold pendar, ladies and gentlemen. Gold pendar, you know. So yeah, other than that, let me go ahead on and get on off here, man. You guys take care of yourselves, man. Stay blessed, and I'll see you all tomorrow. And whatever the topic is going to be about, but we're going to talk about it. We're going to try to hit it out the park. If not all the time, but we're going to get it some of the time, though. And once again, let us make America healthy again. Let's make America rich again. Let's make America safe again. You know, I got this from Trump. Let's make America what? Secure again. And last but not least, let's make America great again, ladies and gentlemen. Right? So put your hands together, though. I appreciate y'all very much. I really do, for coming on the live stream and things. So, yeah. Yep. And let me go ahead and put up, we got to do the Star Spangled Banner. You know, you guys got to stand up for the Star Spangled Banner, man. There we go. So let me go ahead on and got to shut the cameras down. That's 1. And that's 2. You know what I'm saying? So, yep. So I'm on the landscape as well as the vertical. So I'm accommodating both of you, you know. So other than that, though, man, to my mod squad, shout out to Red Hood again, man. It's been good. I got you as a moderator this time. And my mod squad and my members, man, we got to find a time to do an all members live stream. This is why it's good to be a member, so we can talk about the things over here that we don't want to talk about in public. But other than that, guys, and then that I got to reach out to you, though. I got to reach out to you, man. Hard, right? I got to reach out to you, man, so we can – I got the number in there so we can go ahead and set that. That way you can look over that Discord that I got set up, man. Make sure I done it right. Other than that, peace and chicken grease. Let me go ahead on and take this down here. Boy, that looks good. That's a nice backdrop. Did a pretty good job of it. You know, my background is graphic art too. Went to school for it, you know. All right, let's go ahead and shut this down here, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to end with the Star Spangled Banner. Boy, and a beautiful thing. Sung by the beautiful Ashley LaRue. She did the actual sang it, right, in a pickleball tournament. Right, so there it is, guys, and it is copyright free. All right, here we go, and I'll see y'all all tomorrow, same time, same bat channel. Peace and chicken grease, boy. Oh my goodness, I'm out of here.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes